You guys good? Oh, you guys are on mute. It's okay.
It's so weird. Didn't you hear our air conditioner going in the background?
Hold on, let me pause the music. No, you're good.
Okay. If it gets bad, I can just run up and turn it off. But
I mean, we don't want you sweating buckets, so I wouldn't worry too much about it.
my shed, and we have like a little unit, like a window unit that we.
Yeah, I remember watching on your stories, like you guys put it together. It's so nice.
Thank you. But it gets super hot, and today's kind of like an in between day, so
Yeah,
I'm on for now.
I feel you. I feel you. Do you guys mind changing your name to have both of your
Oh
names?
yes, 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 yes.
Okay, awesome. Ah,
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you guys. This is like, I know I said it on our call last week, but this event changes the course of these people's lives
That's awesome.
because it's not just the advice that they get themselves, but it's the advice that they hear, that like they hear about other businesses and how they're doing things, and like it's just so many good ideas. Hey, Cassandra, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're good. All right, Linda's bright and early. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna share my screen.
Morning.
Morning, Linda.
I was so excited. I'm jumping on early.
I love it. I love it. All right. Tune's flowing while we're waiting to get started.
Just like you, but it's always been friends, the ones I'll never see again. What are you feeling in their heads? I found another ex, some temporary settlement to kiss the heartbreak off my lips. She moves just like you. She tastes just like you. But it's always been you.
Make sure you guys have water. It's a lot of talking. Monica and Stacy are gonna be cooking in their cube.
When it's late at night, do you recall that night? 'Cause I think about it sometimes. I'm just lying, it's all the time. And I found out the way to your heart and found myself completely lost. Whatever, it doesn't matter, we fun. I don't need to label how we good time. We don't need to tell nobody we right. 'Cause fuck it, we're young, it's just fun. It started off just a touch innocent, like friend. Yeah, wake up, you're tired, horizontal, we just friends, just friends. Maybe one drink, nothing too far.
Welcome everyone who's popping in. Thank you for being early. Love it.
Don't say much as we lay here, we just friends, just friends. When you say my name, so casual touch my hand, I stop and play it cool, like I'm not into you, but I'm just lying. You drive me wild and say I found out the way to your heart, then found myself completely lost. Whatever, it doesn't matter, we fun. I don't need to label how we good time, and we don't need to tell nobody we right. 'Cause fuck it, we're young, it's just fun. It started off just a touch innocent, like friend, like friend. Yeah, wake up, you're tired, horizontal, we just friends, just friends. Maybe one drink, nothing too far, so far. Is it the stars saying fall in love? No, we don't say much as we lay here, we just friends, just friends. I found out the way to your heart, then found myself completely lost. Whatever, it doesn't matter, we fun. I don't need to label how we good time, and we don't
Hi
need to tell nobody
everyone.
we
Good
right. 'Cause fuck it, we're young, it's
afternoon.
just
As you're
fun.
coming in, welcome.
Just a touch innocent.
Get ready for some speed mentorship. Woo!
Wake up, you're tired, horizontal, we just friends, just friends. Maybe one drink, nothing too far gone. Is it the stars saying fall in love? No, we don't say much as we lay here, we just friends, just friends.
While we're waiting, guys, you can do stories. We dropped the tags in the chat. Let's get social. You can also share a bit more on who you are, a little more about yourself. Obviously, we're going to get deep into everyone's businesses, but might as well do some quick intro. So feel free to drop it in the chat while we're waiting.
Love the peace when I feel alone. It's a part of me that I
Love it.
never
Seeing
run
some
from.
members here too. Hi, Leanna.
Playing clean surround, feet on the ground, but I hate it down there. Hot and cold, young and old. Oh, the more I know, the less I feel right.
still morning for you. All
Guess that's alright.
right, welcome everyone who's coming in.
When you walked home,
We're just waiting for everybody to join. Make sure you've got some water. Your phone is on silent so you can be present and absorb everything that's going to happen this beautiful day. So you're in for an incredible few hours of amazing advice and learnings.
tell me for once what that even means. I wanna know you, but can't make it right.
All right, we'll give everybody one more minute to trickle in.
There's something that I wish I would've told you, but you just don't seem to want to. When you're close to me, oh yeah. Something on my chest. I wish I would've said. Think it over and it might be true. I'm only overthinking when I'm close to you. We locked eyes from a distance. So close, but I missed it. Now you're walking away.
Hi guys, welcome. You're in the right place. Don't worry, we're just waiting for everyone to join.
In a conversation, different night, same situation. I beat myself up for not speaking up. Every night I can't make it right. Yeah, there's something on my
Yeah, feel
mind.
free to drop a little more info in the chat.
Wish I would've told you, but you just don't seem to want to. I'm doing when you're close to me. Oh yeah.
And if you're able to, guys, if you can rename yourself with your name and your business, it's just going to help our mentors remember who you are as we begin the mentor round. So you can change that on your Zoom. That'd be amazing. All right, let's get into it. Sam, are we ready? All right.
Oh,
All right, welcome on this sunny Thursday. I'm so excited. We did this event in early March with some women entrepreneurs, and it was absolutely transformational. So we are so excited to do this for all of you e-commerce entrepreneurs. If we haven't met before, my name is Victoria. I'm one of the co-founders of City Moguls. Thank you so much for being here and being a part of this incredible event. And I'm here with our amazing program coordinator, Sam.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. We are so excited to have everyone here at the e-commerce speed mentorship supported by Shopify. What an exciting event it's going to be today. We are here celebrating you and the incredible brands and companies that you have been building. We've been dreaming about creating this event for a long time, and we're so excited to finally be here today.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know much about City Moguls, I know we have some of our members here, which is amazing, but some of you are new friends, which is fun. But Danny and I, we started as entrepreneurs over 10 years ago. And when we were first starting City Moguls with our events over 6 years ago, one of the reasons we started was because we wanted to be able to create space to get in a room with top entrepreneurs, ask them questions, get those hacks and advice on, how to scale, how to build better businesses and learn from them. So that's the whole reason we created this event, so that we could pay it forward to others and create this space to get deep, quick, and get all of those questions answered, so you guys can build incredible brands and make less errors.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, Danny is away on mat leave. She just had her beautiful baby girl this past Sunday, and she'll be back, a few months from now. But yeah, we're really excited for her. Our little mini mogul is here, our very first one. And our goal here really is to provide a safe space for all of you to share those struggles that you're facing, gain any new insights from each other's, new perspectives for your business, and ultimately be a part of this community that is just full of like-minded and purpose-driven entrepreneurs who are here to change the world.
Yes. And I know reading the title Speed Mentorship Event, you're like, what the heck is this? So I appreciate you coming and being a part of something that's maybe new and different. And I want you to congratulate yourself and give yourself a pat on the back. We had over 50 applications for this event to come and speak about your business today, and you were chosen. So kudos. There was something about you and your business that resonated with our committee. So take the time to really enjoy, be present, put the to-do list on pause, and get out of your business and really think strategically about what's coming up next for you and your goals. Before we officially begin, I just want to share a little bit more about City Moguls, why we do what we do and what the heck this is all about. And at the end of the day, we know that entrepreneurship can be incredibly tough and lonely, and friends and family can help us only so far along the way. So we're really trying to build a community of like-minded entrepreneurs and bring them together, because magic really, really does happen when we all come together. We started with one event 6 years ago that had 150 people at it. We raised $10,000 for charity. That felt in it itself like a huge accomplishment. And here we are 6 years later, a community of thousands with a membership program, an accelerator, virtual events like this, and so many other things going on.
Yeah, and just a quick shout out to our team that have really helped us bring all these events online, which has just been such an amazing transition for us. And our incredible partner for today, Shopify, for just making today happen. I'm going to go through how it works. I mean, we're in the welcome right now, so you're hearing all about us. We're going to jump and learn and introduce our mentors, our amazing mentors that are here today. After that, we're going to get right into the thick of it. Going into our speed mentorship round, we're gonna share the order for everybody shortly, so you'll see that. And then we'll just wrap up with some special remarks and a little treat for you too, maybe.
Some closing remarks. Should have gotten that typo. No one's perfect. All right. Yeah, so I know some of you have gotten this invitation, but next Thursday we're actually doing an open house. We have so many incredible things going on in the community, and this is a chance to really learn and understand everything that's going on inside. Our accelerator program is relaunching in the fall. It's a combination of a mastermind and a mentorship group. Some of the people here today are actually in it right now and are experiencing that transformation. So we'll be sharing more about that. We're doing some hot seat networking and lots of other fun stuff. And an excuse to have a mimosa is an excuse to have a mimosa. So next Thursday is one of those excuses. And I'm pretty sure Sam has invited you guys all to that anyway. So we'd love to have you there too if you are curious and want to learn more about what's going on. Finally, this is one of our monthly events we have coming up. If you guys would like to come and join us and you haven't been before, would love to have you. This is our networking happy hour. It's a monthly event. Super fun, kind of like speed dating, but speed business dating, because you're really learning and connecting with other entrepreneurs at a fast pace and just building new relationships with incredible people doing some really cool stuff. Now, enough from us.
Yeah, let's welcome our amazing and esteemed panel of mentors that have graciously set time aside today to speak to all of you. We are so fortunate to have such amazing talent here and leaders in this room. I'm so excited. So let's meet them. We have Monica Abramov and Stacy Boguslavskaya, co-founders of Lunata Beauty. We have Rajan Ruparel, chairman and co-founder of Endy, and Cassandra Ratcliffe, community manager for Canada with Shopify. Welcome and thank you so much. I'd love for you all to introduce yourselves. So let's start with Monica and Stacy. Welcome. Oh, also share a little tip too, like a little quick tidbit of anything you want to say initially for our viewers.
Sure. So I'm Stacy Boguslavskaya. I'm one of the co-founders of Lunata Beauty. And I'm Monica Abramov, the other co-founder of Lunata Beauty. And Lunata is a beauty tech company. We're based in Toronto.
We've been around since 2017, and we specialize in cordless hair tools. And we are a D2C and a B2B company. So our products are found in about 16, I think, different retailers across North America. And a tidbit. I think just go for it. I mean, you guys have already all gone for it in terms of your businesses, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think a big one for us, like when we first started the company, was leaning on freelancers. That was a big one, and using people who are experts in their field as freelancers, because you can't really afford to hire a lot of people.
Awesome. Thank you. That's great. Rajan, introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, my name is Rajan Ruparel. I'm chairman and co-founder of Endy, serial entrepreneur. So my background was I was a co-founder of Groupon International. I'd love to say I started Groupon. I just copied the heck out of it many moons ago, and we were all over Europe and Asia, and we merged with Groupon. And then I founded Endy about in 2015. Endy's kind of the largest direct consumer sleep company in Canada. We just expanded into furniture. We started the company, I guess 6 years ago. We've done about 300 million in sales. We're a super proud partner with Shopify. I'd like to think we're one of the largest, if not the largest store in Canada, but Cassandra will never tell me. Yeah, we still every transaction goes through Shopify as well. And it's been a really cool story. We really focused on building a Canadian or changing kind of the Canadian direct to consumer landscape. When I moved back from the States, that was my goal with it. And it's been really great and fun and successful. We sold the company a couple of years ago to Sleep Country, but I still have this fancy chairman title for some reason. And then I'm also the lead director and the largest investor in Clearbank, or Clearco. Now we've rebranded, founded by Michelle Romano and Andrew. So I'm really active with them as well, helping other e-commerce entrepreneurs. And just excited to be here and see if I can help anyone.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much, Rajan. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for everybody. And last but not least, let's introduce Cassandra. Welcome.
They're fantastic but hard people to follow, first of all. All amazing. So I'm Cassandra. I'm the community manager for Canada. I come from a marketing background, so I used to work with companies like Red Bull. I ran the marketing for Rip Curl Canada previously. And then as a community manager, I've worked with a ton of smaller businesses, getting them up and running and kind of mentoring them through starting and getting going. Thank you so much for being here. And I think honestly, I'm going to go with Monica and Stacy's tidbit of information is like, just go for it. You've already gotten to this point. Like, don't wait until something's perfect. The best part about everything being online, or most of it being online these days, is like, you can change something in an instant. So you can try something. And if it doesn't work, try it again.
Love that. All right. Vic, I think we're ready to go.
Yeah, I think there's just a few tips we wanted to bestow upon you guys, just a few final reminders. Most importantly, don't be nervous. This is an incredibly safe space. Remember, this isn't so much like a pitch competition kind of thing. This is for you to really candidly talk about things going on in your business and get these incredible experts' advice on like the deep rooted things that you're trying to figure out and just get out of your head. Just a few tips. Please only share one of your businesses. I know we have a lot of serial entrepreneurs on here that have got a lot on the go. Choose one. Our time is limited together. Danny, I'm so used to saying Danny's name. I miss her, but Sam's just as great. Limit yourself to 2 questions because we will be watching the clock. Sam's going to drop some sample questions in the chat for you guys to reference if you're like, I'm not sure what to ask, but I hope you've come prepared. And you'll have about 2 minutes to present, just you talking about your business. And then we're going to rotate through the mentors in the order that they spoke recently. So Monica and Stacy, Raja, and then Cassandra on just going through their feedback and advice for you. And mentors, it's totally okay if you want to pass the torch to another mentor. If the questions that they're posing, just you don't really have much to contribute, totally fine. Do what you can. And this is not just about the mentorship and the advice, it's also about all of you incredible entrepreneurs connecting and getting to know one another and helping each other out. So if you hear a question or something about their business and you want to chime in and give some advice, that's what the chat's for. Also cheering them on. This is a bit of an intense time, it's a lot of energy and input. So we can all use that positive energy to keep going, and we really do encourage you to stay for the entire time, not just to show support for one another, but there's so much to be learned through group think and learning from the advice that the mentors are giving to other entrepreneurs on the call. So please, please, please stick around.
Yeah, and use that chat function as well to give each other props for presenting. Any other advice you can give them too if you want to connect with them. Let's really take advantage of that chat function to connect with each other as we go through these presentations. Annie just asked me a quick question, and I think it's such a great thing to just quickly note. It's kind of freebie. So she's asking how many minutes do we have? You have about 2 minutes to present, and it's based on the feedback of the mentors. We really just try to keep it a nice flow. I'm not going to give you an exact time. I'm going to say 5 to 10 minutes total per person, but it can run quicker or slower depending on what we're discussing today. But just having a quick look at the order, this is how everyone will be speaking. I will drop that in the chat as well, so you don't have to feel like, okay, I'm after this person, so don't worry about that. But we'll kind of drop in 3 people at a time so that you know you're kind of on deck, ready to go. But we're gonna start off with Lori Cook. You are our first speaker for today. Woo-hoo!
All right, exciting. Thank you. Thanks. It's always like great to be first, but also like a little nerve-wracking. So anyway, thanks so much for having me. It's such an amazing event and so honored to be able to speak in front of all these great mentors. So as you just heard, my name is Lori Cook. I am a pharmacist and I'm the founder and CEO of Vitamin Packs. And we're Canada's first personalized daily dose vitamin and supplement subscription service. Our goal is to take the trouble and guesswork out of buying quality, reputable supplements from brands that you already know and trust. If you haven't had a chance to visit our website, what you'll see is when you go there, we suggest starting with our health assessment, which takes a deep dive into your lifestyle and health goals, and then it scans for drug interactions and nutrient depletions as well. All of this gets computed by our proprietary recommendation engine to provide you with a truly tailored plan that's based on your needs, vetted by our advisory board, comprised of myself, a pharmacist, naturopaths, nutritionists, and dietitians. If you already have a regimen that you love and like, you can always just build your own pack as well. Your monthly supply of vitamins come in our cute little dispenser morning and night boxes so that when you're ready to take your vitamins, all you have to do is just tear and go and you've got everything there. We launched in December 2019, and it was really an idea that was born from my own frustrations of buying, storing, and remembering to take my vitamins. And after not being able to find a Canadian solution that met my needs, I decided to start Vitamin Packs. So, I mean, along the way, I've definitely faced my fair share of challenges, including having my second daughter 11 days before we launched, which was always fun. In the end, I'm happy to have been able to introduce this novel and convenient concept to the Canadian market. We're definitely still in our startup phase, but fairly happy with our growth so far. We've demonstrated proof of concept, and now we just need to prove that this is a sustainable long-term business. Our average cart value is about $120, and that's somewhat intentional. What sets us apart is the fact that we have a focus on professional line supplements, which are inherently more expensive. We don't charge a premium for our service, so you're basically getting the same vitamins that you would from a health food store, but with the added convenience of the subscription and everything together in one pack. So it seems great, but unfortunately, our customer lifetime value is only about $350. So basically, we're keeping customers for an average of 3 months. Most of our customers end up canceling after their first month, but we do have a pretty strong representation of customers who have been with us for more than about 6 months or longer. We just did a recent customer experience project, and that highlighted the fact that people are canceling because the prices are too high or because they fall behind or forget to take their vitamins. We're currently working on ways to improve our unit economics, including renegotiating our vendor contracts and developing our own line of quality supplements. So having coasted on organic growth kind of so far to this stage, I'm ready to switch gears to a more thoughtful and sustainable growth strategy, but I'm not prepared to spend a ton of money on customers that I don't make money off of and who only stick with us for a short period of time. So I have a ton of questions, but I think right now the most important place to start is to see if you have any insight on the best strategies to decrease churn in a premium subscription-based model. Thank you.
So yeah, I guess we can go first. I mean, looking at your website, it looks incredible, and the imagery is there, and I did the health assessment. I guess the biggest thing that I would take away is how can you really focus on the quality of the vitamins, because that's really the one thing that, like, you can get this health assessment and then exactly which vitamins you need to take, and somebody can obviously take that away and go to Shoppers and get their vitamins. So like, really, how can you hone in on the quality and really do a deep dive on like maybe every single vitamin? I don't know if you do that already, so forgive me if you do.
I do, but it's a whole like reading project, right? If you wanted to kind of get into what we've got right now.
Yeah, maybe more like something more digestible, maybe some videos, like really talking about the quality and why your supplements are better than, your drugstore vitamins.
Yeah, I actually purchased a while back from a US company. I think it's called like Care and Co. Or
Care of.
And I am one of those people that, bought everything and then didn't end up like resubscribing. And a big thing for me was, I think, like, as you said, like people forget to take them. And then I was like a week or two down the road and I had all of them and I was like, I already, it's been too long. And I feel like maybe there's more that can be implemented, whether like right now we use a lot of text messaging marketing, and a lot of people subscribe to it more than we thought would. And you could potentially offer some sort of service where it says like, do you want to have a reminder in the morning and in the night that we would text you to just let you know, like, it's vitamin time or something kind of cute. And you could have like maybe a persona that's like a fun person who texts you to kind of just remind you, because it kind of keeps you accountable as well.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like a person is asking you to do something that you should be doing that's healthy for you.
Right.
But yeah, like that was why I didn't keep buying it, because I just like kept forgetting to take them, and yeah, had a lot of them sitting there.
Nope, that's amazing. That's great advice. Thank you so much.
Great advice. Thank you, girls. Raj, and where are you? I'm trying to spotlight you. Here we go.
Hi, Lori. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Great. Great UX on your site. Looks fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm going to pivot for 1 second. I have ideas. Ignore them if you think they're crazy. But I think it's completely separate. This is probably more for an engagement. But I think finding one of the things I would struggle with, and the hardest thing is attraction on e-commerce in terms of site time, is qualifying how long that health assessment takes. If it's short, if it's a 1-minute assessment, put 1-minute assessment on there. You're going to see a significant conversion rate if it's a short enough period of time. We all like to know, even when you see how Shopify, you go through the checkout, you're on step 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. It gives you a sense of security in what you're going for and the steps that you're going through in terms of the timeline. It's not like, I got to do a health assessment, because the people doing the health assessment are also on potential dating sites that take 4 hours to fill out a form or something, right? And so they don't know what that is. And expectation obviously can help or it can deter, but it's one of those things that you may want to test to see if you have more people even clicking on or completing. And I don't know what that drop off rate is going to be.
It's huge. Our drop off rate is huge.
Seems like your analytics, right? But that drop off rate is half the battle is setting expectations with people. And so when they click on it, they know it's 3 minutes. It's almost like now it's a challenge for them to complete it. And if they don't complete it, they're a failure. But if they just click on it to see it, then they have that opportunity in their brain. It's all psychological. So if you say it's a 3-minute health assessment, they click on it, or even when they click on it, say 3 minutes, this should take less than 3 minutes, right? I've seen people with assessments even put a timer on it so they have to finish it in a certain period of time so that they finish their health assessment. So I think that will help. And the reason I bring that up is you talk about churn, right? There's two issues here, volume versus churn. I see a lot of startups early days focus on churn. I always push them to focus on volume because churn will be solvable over a period of time. One of the biggest reasons for churn, aside from product, aside from cost, aside from drop off, that gets mitigated is the bigger the brand, the less the churn is. And Endy, for example, the bigger we became, the less refunds there were because people trust the brand. And it's almost like there's more people doing it. So I will answer your question on churn, but I do believe that like focus on volume is probably more of a priority. I don't know how big you guys are yet, but obviously there's a little room for exponential growth. You know, churn is an issue, 100%, especially investment into and it's definitely something you need to solve. But you know, it's one of those things that it's easy to be like, oh, but we're getting such a drop off of customer. Let's focusing on 10x your customer, and you're going to worry less about your drop off. And it's unbelievable how fast that will change as brand builds. I have one more thing for you that'll probably apply to other people.
Yeah.
Again, to build brand, I don't know if you're selling one of the highest ROAS or return on ad spend. You said you don't want to spend too much wasted money. That I'm seeing right now, it's kind of an unfair advantage is Instacart. And so everyone's like, well, the question I get all the time is, so I'm going to pre-answer a question from somebody else here. The question I get all the time is, what is the, you know, like, where's your secret sauce? What's the advantage? What's the next platform? Like, and I'm always looking for these inequities in pricing. Instacart's one of them. You have a food and beverage product. So if I know you're only selling direct to consumer, so it might not be on brand for you, but it's a great way to get a return on ad spend there. I think we've tested it amongst a bunch of food brands. It's been 12 or 14x return. It's still so early. It's also a great way to position your product that has brand equity. So if you are selling, because you are selling some standardized packs, right?
It's all personalized right now, but we have looked into the standardized model as well.
When you go on the products, that those products are that's based on what you get out of your health system, then you order those products.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, or you could kind of build your own custom pack, but we don't at the moment have like a pre-pack, like a men's health or an energy pack, but it's on our roadmap.
It's an interesting platform that I think is working really well. And then the final thing to address churn, you have to find a way to give. Churn is like every subscription model has that issue. And it's funny, you're saying after one thing, someone will have the same problem. They're freaking out after 12 months or 18 months. The biggest thing is churn. The best mitigation for that is community, right? Are you building that community? You've done a health assessment, but are they really engaged with you along the way, as part of that, giving you feedback so that you want them to be taking it more, right? Because the reason it doesn't work, people are willing to pay, and price is something like you'll have to figure out, right? Whether it makes sense or not, but people are willing to pay for something if it works. There's probably a good bet is that a lot of them are just not taking them on time, like you said, or they're just not using it, right? So being along the way is really, really important. And again, Endy's two great examples. The minute we started creating communicate, we had a 100-night return, and our biggest issue was return, that people were returning their mattresses. We brought our return rates down from 14% down to 4%. And the way that we did that was, one, we built a bigger brand so people trusted us more. Two, we communicated a heck of a lot more with our community once they bought it. And so they felt more engaged with it, because often at times there's a lot of questions and answers. There's always buyer's remorse, right? And your cancellation is usually people that have thought about canceling right away, but they didn't cancel because they feel bad or they want to try it. But they thought literally within the week that they bought, they've thought about, did I make the right decision? So your job is to handhold them post-purchase and like encourage them that they're part of something and keep them along the way, which I'm sure you do, but it's like even more is really important. And then the final thing, and I know it's taking a lot of time, but is giving away something for free. Give them an option. So when again, I'll use Endy as an example for this one. When people want to return stuff, there was it's either too soft or too firm. It's unbelievable. Like 50% of people are like, it's too soft, another 50% is too firm. And so we're just like, okay, so we created a two-sided topper, and the return cost us so much money, right, to get a mattress back, right? We have to and you can't resell mattresses because of regulation. So we just send them a free topper. Even though there was a cost to that, it was much cheaper than returning a mattress. Plus, we want people to enjoy their product. And so for you, it's giving that option of, can we give you a free month? Because the longer that they extend you on it, or can we change up your concoction, right, before you cancel, right? That was probably our biggest driver of drop-in returns, because we've essentially solved the problem. It's too soft. Well, here's a topper that will make it firmer, right? And vice versa. So I think it sucks because people don't want to give things away for free, but it's really, there's also an obligation when you get something that you almost feel you're obligated to the brand to keep going. When we send a topper to someone, now they have to send us another email to get a refund. They're like, fuck it, let's just keep the mattress. So
Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you, Raj.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
I took about 65 notes. So there was a lot in there. Thank you. Cassandra, do you have anything you want to add quickly?
Yeah, quickly. One, your branding is fantastic. I've actually seen this brand like quite a bit and have been like, oh my God, this is so cool. So when I was looking at the links, I was like, oh, this is really cool. I actually know this. And out in BC. So your marketing's working, which is fantastic. One thing we talked about, or some of the other mentors talked about, just like building a bigger brand and well-known. Product reviews go a really, really long way. And so that could be something that you add on like the homepage when somebody's scrolling through. It's just like, they look at you and it's like, okay, I know that real people use this. These are the experiences. And it just gives them that extra level of trust. So reviews could be a fantastic way of doing it. I also have a question in terms, like when I've looked at this, I'm also very similar to like Stacey and Monica. I buy my products, my naturopath is like, do all these things and I forget.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh crap, cancel the subscription because I'm not going to use it for like maybe in another month. And then I get through it. And then it would almost be like, I don't know if you do any post-purchase or like post cancellation of subscriptions, but let's say you cancel, but you could do a reminder in a month after that. Like, hey, have you actually gotten through this? Because typically with the subscriptions, if you cancel it, you can ask them why. And if they haven't finished it, then you just give them a reminder in a month. Hey, have you finished it yet? Here's another opportunity to give it another try. So that could be another one. And something that when I was looking through your website, the first thing that came to my mind was packaging. Have you gotten a lot of feedback in terms of like, it's a lot of packaging?
Yes. So we're testing out some biodegradable packaging right now, but because of the sensitive nature of vitamins in the pack, we have to make sure that it's going to maintain their integrity. So one thing that we have implemented but don't advertise much is a recycling program. So similar to the way that you can return your Nespresso pods back to Nespresso, we offer the same thing. So you can return your empty packs to us, and then we partner with a company called TerraCycle to make sure that they're properly kind of recycled and disposed of.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. I could see that being expensive. That's something just like to note, because I know, I mean, especially out in BC, they're like, no more packaging. We don't do that anymore. So kind of something that came to my mind. And then, yeah, I think Raj made a fantastic point in terms of like volume versus churn. I think as you get more volume, you'll get the right people. And when you get those right people, you can use those reviews to kind of give that sense of trust of, yes, I want to try this product. And then the last thing I'll say, just because I know we have a bit of a time crunch here, is I haven't gone through the full process of purchasing something on your website. So I apologize if you already have this, but like different time frames for your subscriptions. So maybe if it's advertised as this is a month, for somebody like me, I probably won't get through it all in a month. If you send me another one in 2 months, that probably works better for me. Probably not what my naturopath would tell me to do, but
something is better than nothing, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. So even if I'm taking it every 2 days, then it's a little less of like, oh, I didn't finish it in a month. Okay, I didn't succeed. I'll cancel it and I'll figure it out later. It is something that is very much for your health and people do want to do it, but then you do get that sense of like, oh shoot, I didn't do a good job. So if you're able to create this persona of somebody who's really supportive and is like a good reminder, like Stacey and Monica said, like send them a text message and that sort of thing. One, it helps with your brand, and two, it helps with the actual customer's experience.
Yeah, amazing. That's such fantastic input. Thank you. All really, really valid. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Wow.
Thanks,
way
guys.
to kick us off. Mentors, that was amazing. I'm gonna play bad cop and just keep it a little shorter so that we can get everyone, and we're not here till 5 o'clock. But we have allocated enough time for everyone. So moving right along, we're gonna move to Kaylee.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. All so far, really great advice. I got some tidbits from pretty much everyone. So my name is Kaylee Vaughn. I'm a cosmetologist and founder of my brand Lost Lover, which is all about cultivating a lifelong romance with yourself with very simple lifestyle tools. So I developed a product called the mask, and my mask is a powder. So it helps people get out of their day to day and allows them to assess their own skin, mix their mask with either water, oil, honey, or yogurt. And you mix it yourself and you have to apply it and take some time to just be present with yourself. And I've been in the beauty industry I'm going on my 9th year as a hairdresser. And I've always been very passionate about educating other people on how to take care of their own hair or their skin, or just helping people learn how to feel good on their own without just having to come into the salon to feel good. So right now I'm pretty new to the product development space. I actually don't have a Shopify yet. I've been on Etsy and I've had a Squarespace, but when I was starting out, Squarespace was just super complicated for me to use, and it was a little bit more expensive than what I was ready for because I wasn't making it a lot of sales. So Etsy was a really good place to start out, but now I'm really excited to try out a new platform, and I'm actually developing the Shopify right now. I have someone helping me, but something that I've been really stumped on understanding is the SEO aspect of it. I know how important that is to really optimize the website and to get people who aren't in your like your Instagram network to purchase your products. And then I also struggle with staying organized right now. I'm doing everything on my own and I'm not in a place to outsource yet. So that's where I am right now. And I also have a client right now too. So she's my advice too right now.
in living it and loving it. I love it. All right. Well, Kaylee, you're early on in your journey, and that's why this event is great, is because we have so many people at different phases. So Monica and Stacy, let's hear what feedback you have for her.
Well, I think a big thing is, look, Monica and I started our first business. Monica literally had just given birth. We both were like working in other jobs. Like, don't feel like no entrepreneur should feel like they have to just be focused on their work. Like, a lot of entrepreneurs have other jobs, they have a lot going on. It's just really, if that's your passion, finding that time in a day that you allocate, and it's like a non-negotiable, where you say, these are my hours of where I'm dedicating to the business, and that's my focus. And then you, I think, will get kind of organized. We're very big to-do list people. We live by the to-do list. So that's a big one. But going to your SEO question, Monica and I are not SEO experts, so maybe somebody else can answer it. But for us, hiring experts that are freelancers, even if you think you might need a lot, but we used a platform called Upwork. Upwork is really, really helpful when you have a really small budget, and everyone has like their profiles, they have ratings, you could see previous work, you can find someone who's an SEO expert who has done very similar kind of website work and work with them. But you might spend hours and hours and hours trying to learn SEO, and your hours might be better used somewhere else.
And on the Upwork thing as well, it's important to note that they do have all sorts of budgets. So I know you said you can't, really outsource right now, But when we were starting out, like we literally like were spending pennies on certain things, not pennies, but it, you know,
well,
it was,
there's also a lot of hustlers on there who are wanting to prove themselves, and they'll take like a smaller fee just to really show that, like what they can achieve to build up their profile. So don't think you have to be spending like thousands of dollars to get the help that you need.
yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. All right, moving right along, Rajan.
I will keep it short. I think first off, congrats on starting the business. I think it's very, very cool. Like I think it's awesome that you've got a client there and you're hustling right now, which is great. Yeah, look, I think for me, to answer your SEO question really quickly, is I agree with Monica and Stacey's, like there's other priorities right now. Don't get worried about that stuff. You're going to hear a lot of these tech terms. Even today, you'll hear stuff and say, oh my God, do I need to learn about that stuff? Your job is to, make product and find a way to get into people's hands. That's really your first thing. Everything else will kind of fall into place. But, e-commerce can be this very crazy world of terminology and technology that's just like way beyond, the most important thing is you make an amazing product and then you find a way to get it to people. So you did a great job by getting on Etsy. That's a marketplace that's allowing people to kind of search and come to you. I think marketplaces are a fantastic place to start. And then as you push it slowly, you may want to be using, influencers or, clients as well to push out your product. We didn't focus significantly on SEO. There's an old school world and the new school world. The search engines are so powerful on their algorithms right now that they really pick up what is relevant. Write about it, friends write about it. The more stuff that's out there, for our SEO, it was PR and press. And the more PR we press, that stuff is all relevant. And go look at the first page of Google. It's the same stuff. So make sure you're on, the Twitters and the LinkedIns and all the stuff that already gets picked up high SEO. Because for you to start doing that, it'll take time, right? And that's not your priority right now. Be okay to do one thing at a time. And that's kind of my answer there. Don't worry about it. Come back next year, ask that question. But like right now, it's like make good product and try to sell some mats.
Cool. Okay, that's really great advice. I feel like as a one-woman show, it's like trying to put all of my eggs in so many different baskets, and I feel like I'm just kind of spinning my wheels a little bit, and then I'm just like, over it. But thank you. That's really good advice.
All about the priorities, right, Rajan?
Focus.
Yeah. All right, Cassandra, any final words?
Yeah, it's like Raj said, it's so easy to get caught up in like specific tech words. SEO is very much a long-term game. So if you write a blog post tomorrow and then you check your website traffic in a week, it will likely not actually have done too much. So go in, write really good product reviews. I mean, the other thing too is it's difficult because I think with your current website, it like sends people to Etsy, it sends people to different links. So it's really hard for Google to kind of aggregate all that information and be like, oh, this is actually for this brand. So once you're able to kind of get everything in one place, that's when product descriptions are really important. Your blog posts, about the store and like yourself, that's when it's really important. But right now it's hard to like get all that information because you're just kind of sending it everywhere. But again, it's a long-term thing. There's other things that you can actually work on and put time and effort into that will have a faster return right away. So as like a new business that kind of has not everything in one place, I wouldn't really worry about it. The other thing too, like Monica and Stacey said, like as much as you want to go through and learn it, SEO is a pain. Personally, not for me. I would give that to someone else. For you can take that time, have another client come in, make that money that you can then go and pay somebody else to do. So like just looking, like weighing your options, like, does that make sense for you to take all that time? If it's something that you're really passionate about, awesome, go through and learn it. If it's not, don't worry about it. You can't do everything. And then the other thing too is I think once you're able to get everything in one place, all of that hard work is going to be a lot easier. Because I was looking at your Instagram, and then you go to your website, and then if you want to buy a product, you're then pushed over. I don't want to just like keep pushing and being like, yeah, Shopify is going to be the only thing that you can do. There's other avenues. If you don't want to pay for like a full subscription, you could have like the buy button, which is very much just like an add-on to a blog, and that is a cheaper option. So there are other options to kind of keep that a little bit less expensive. But I think ultimately it is going to help you get everything in one place.
Yeah. Great. This is exactly what I needed to hear. Thank you.
No worries. I also had no idea there was somebody behind you until you pointed them out and they moved.
Actually just probably stop my video once I rinse around, keep everything on so I can listen and on everyone else's stuff. But thank you guys.
Congrats, Kaylee. You've done the hardest part. You've started. That's it. Now you just got to keep going and figuring it out. All right. We're going to move right along. Thank you, Kaylee. Up next is Vladimir. You're up.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
You're good.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, really appreciate this opportunity. Everything has been incredibly informative, and I've been writing a ton. A little bit about myself. I'm an entrepreneur. I've always been in the service and B2B space, predominantly in marketing and video production for the last 10 years, and have started a brand in the B2C beauty niche, which is very different from anything I have ever done before, really because of a dream, a passion, and an opportunity that I saw. So my company is called Forward, and essentially we seek to help people create their best skin and self by bringing the science of nature and the powerful mindfulness rituals into their lives. We believe that beauty is more than skin deep, and that simple routines using powerful mushroom-based products, giving back to the planet, and improving the lives of our customers can coexist in a premium self-care experience. Some cool things that we do is we actually have an acreage in Northern Ontario where we've partnered with our manufacturer, and we actually hand forage our own key ingredients. So mushrooms, ferns, mosses are all hand foraged there. They're super high quality. It's USDA certified organic, so really forest to skin approach. And the other big component is that, you know, I saw the time and space that we have with ourselves in the bathroom is sacred, because it's one of the only times during the day that we can really stand face to face with ourselves. And it's a chance to take a few moments to start the day off right, you know, with more intent and mindful purpose, or to wind the day down with reflections and gratitude of the day past. For me, mindfulness has been an incredibly powerful journey, as has self-care. As I was going through kind of, you know, starting this company, I went through a divorce. As I had launched, it was in the middle of a pandemic. So it's just been a crazy flurry for me as a solo, you know, founded, bootstrapped brand. And I've certainly learned a tremendous amount going through it. And I've been able to gain a little bit of industry recognition and get some press, and all of that has been wonderful. I am struggling with a couple of things right now. Number one, perfectionism. Number two, I would say just, again, being kind of solo founded and bootstrapped, I'm running low on money. I've only launched with really one skin SKU, although I have two in R&D, and I have a sheet mask that's mycelium based, which is kind of the neural network of the mushroom. Could be a world's first. I have a potential partnership there, but I'm really running low on fuel and funding. And so I think, speaking with somebody who is sort of a mentor for me, he said, hey, you know, you really recognize you can't do this on your own, find a co-founder. So for me, it was like, wow, okay, like this is maybe something I really need to do. So one of my questions would be, you know, how would I go about finding a co-founder in the beauty niche, especially being where I am currently, which is, you know, I'm certainly heavily invested into my own brand, both in time and money, and really looking for somebody that can complement my skill set and also bring in some sort of monetary investment, ideally. And then I guess my second question would be, out of all possible marketing activities, what would you recommend for a brand like mine as a best use of my time to get people into the door with a limited budget? Yeah, I think that's where I'm at right now.
Thank you, Vladimir. I appreciate you sharing your story. It helps us also understand the origin of the product, and love the mindfulness and the lifestyle about it too. Like, I'm already bought in. I'm like, yeah, I want that moment with myself in the mirror every morning. So thank you for sharing. I'll throw it to Monica and Stacy.
Yeah, sure. I'll speak to the co-founder side of things, and Monica will speak to the marketing part. And I think that just shows, how you build, like you find a partner is you kind of, the first thing I think you should do is kind of figure out, what are you good at and what are your strengths and what are you lacking, and be, very truthful with yourself of like, what are the things that you need the help with. With Monica and I, we weren't friends first. We became business partners. We were introduced by a mutual friend to start working together in business. I think a big thing is networking and putting it out there in your network that you are looking for potential business partner if that's what you think that you need. But there's also this idea of smart money. Where you might potentially find somebody who's interested in your business, who has a lot of experience in a similar business and has had some exits or success there, and they would potentially invest a little bit of money, get equity in your company, and allocate some of their time, maybe on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. And it becomes where you've received some investment, the person has ownership in the company, they have there's not a drive, but there's something for them
More
to
skin in the game.
Yeah, they have more skin in the game. They've given you some money. They might not be able to dedicate every day to you, but they can dedicate a little bit of time. And they can also open some doors for you and introduce you to other people that can help you expand the business. Monica and I raised money really early on in our business when we first got into Nordstrom and Holt Renfrew. And we, gave up some of our company, but we gave up that part to somebody who's a very, very big individual in our space and who has really helped us as well in business. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a business partner, a daily kind of person like Monica and I.
If you don't mind, just to quickly interject as almost like a B point, when you guys first met, did you meet before you formed the company, or did one of you already come up with the idea, do some investment and some legwork, and then you kind of came together and said, hey, like maybe we can take this further together?
So Monica started a company, it was called Shop Bake. It was a bakery marketplace. And I had a marketing agency at the time. And so a common friend said, hey, like you have this marketing agency. My friend just started this startup. She's like really working super hard on it. Maybe you can come and help with some of the marketing stuff. So that's how we met. And then when I saw what Monica achieved in like a very short period of time and like her work ethic, then I ended up joining the company that way. And then we started other companies together after that.
Thank you. Very cool.
In terms of the marketing part of things, so I'm just looking at your website right now, and the first thing that kind of really comes to mind is you've got this huge banner on Father's Day BOGO sale, which is awesome, but you've said so many awesome things about, the benefits of the mushrooms and just all the really cool, like unique parts about the actual products, because obviously the beauty industry is so saturated and this is really unique. So the first thing that I'd want to see is really speaking to like everything that you have underneath the wake up to the power of mushrooms, mindfulness, all those icons, like really bring that forward and focus on, the key differentiators of these products, because your imagery is incredible. Like it's so beautiful. You've got these great accolades like with Elle and, the different media sources and things like that. So really focus on that, have a call to action higher up. But like the actual products look amazing. And then of course, we all know, get it into as many hands as possible. Influencers, get people really talking about this online. And I think that's really the best way, like always product for some recognition is always the best way to do it when you're strapped for cash. And it's really the best way to get people in the door. And then the other thing is, this is really small and nitpicky, but for reviews, we found that like we also always had like only 5-star reviews, and we would hide everything else. But as a consumer, like it's always like you kind of trust the brand more when they have some negative reviews there as well. So
I literally haven't had any yet, so I'm like, I don't know if I have to make some negative ones, but like I have one 4-star review, and like the rest, I mean, I only have 30 reviews so far anyway, but like maybe that's why. I don't know if I have to start like damaging the product and sending it out to people.
No, definitely don't do that. Just something to keep in mind. But yeah, the product looks beautiful. The benefits look great. I think you'll do really well.
Thank you.
It's a good problem to have, Vladimir.
Yeah, apparently.
Thanks, Monica and Stacy. And Vladimir, you got to come out to more virtual networking events, man. There's people looking for co-founders all the time and opportunities. So put yourself out there more, talk to people. It's gonna, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Amen.
All right, Rajan.
Okay, cool. Yeah, co-founder, there's 2 ways to look at it. One, I'm a huge believer, if you want a co-founder, you have to recruit your co-founder. So you have to go out there and make it happen. I like Monica's and Stacy's stories is super cool because it's like a pair that kind of connects with complementary skill sets there. The best ones I've seen have been the one where if they found a co-founder after the fact, it's someone that they've worked with before that they're just like so impressed with, and then you have to go recruit that person. This is a sales game right now, and you got to go convince them of why they should be your co-founder. But someone that you're enamored with, because it's a really hard. It doesn't happen all the time where you meet someone randomly and it just kind of works, right? Yeah. Also make a list of what you're great at and what you're looking for. Because you really want someone that can, a little bit of what you want from the capital, but really more finance. You can say, look, this is what I can bring to the table. Because when you're recruiting them, and this is what I need you to bring to the table. I think it'll be hard, and again, based on the previous comment, to find capital and a co-founder. I think they don't necessarily go hand in hand. And so to look for this like superhero that's going to do both, may not be the right way. The second way to do it, which was suggested before, is you've got a great product, you've got a great brand, you've got a great PR. You can go out and raise some money, and that's a really daunting task. But then you can hire your co-founder, right? And you can bring in a CLO, right? And so, and I think that's the best way because you can hire your co-founder. I'd say you can also fire your co-founder then, right? It makes it a lot easier. You can try people out, you can test it, right? And you can find what that perfect fit is. So that's kind of how I would approach your co-founder. There's 2 ways to do it, but you got to be proactive and the same stuff. Put yourself out there, right? You've got some. And then where should you spend your most time? I looked at your product briefly on Instagram. Beautiful product, really well. You're obviously really talented in a way that makes me want to try it. It looks great. You've got so much talent there. It's so visual. I would be focusing on Instagram and influencer. I just think there's still high return on ad spend there. Canada's so far behind the US when it comes to cost per impression for influencer. And influencer is something that you can control. You'll probably hear me. It's like almost like, oh, but influencer's so overdone. It's not overdone.
It's interesting because admittedly, I haven't spent a tremendous amount of time or money on influencers. But I've tried it a few times. The few times I've tried it, I've gotten 0 sales. They were maybe like 50 to 100K followers. I find it always difficult to understand, like, are their engagement metrics real? How many of them are bots? How invested is the audience into them from a trust perspective? Are they just hawking products? Like I'm having a really difficult time with that, but I it's kind of resounding. Like I hear from a lot of people, influencers work. Maybe I just need to invest more time into it.
Yeah, my 30 seconds on that is go for smaller influencers, go for a lot more micro influencers, 1,000 to 5,000, right? It's that those are, and go for free product. Don't pay for your influencers. Unbelievable. Maybe this is a suggestion, but there's a heck of a lot of 18 to 25-year-olds, and I don't know if that's your demo or not, but there's a heck of a lot of people that just their dream is to be an influencer, make them an influencer if they're not an influencer already. Like, you know, they get an email saying, we'd like you to be a brand ambassador for the brand. People go crazy. They call their mama, oh, I'm like an influencer. So like be able to, I think do it small and don't take a lot of cost. And you have to send it like your product probably has a low, you have probably a strong margin in your product in the beauty space, right? Like how do you send out 200 packages?
Should I be looking at a specific geographical location? So like only influencers in Toronto or Los Angeles or wherever maybe, you know, beauty products tend to be purchased.
Focus you because you can track your metrics. So choose an area. And again, you're not trying to build perfect metrics. You know, people always look for, oh, well, did that person bring me X amount of sales? That's a strategy. I think in beauty, it works really well. It's cheap to send product. You don't have to pay. Don't pay for an influencer and go for a subset. I don't know, choose 100 influencers. And it's like sending those emails yourself. I'd love for you to be a brand ambassador. You're a perfect brand ambassador. This is what I'd like you to do. And I'd love to send you more product. And if you are incredibly successful, then there'll be an opportunity to have a more structured partnership. So it gives them something to get excited about, that they push it in the right way. But you're right, the 50 to 100K influencers, A, they're getting usually paid. B, I mean, they usually have following everywhere. With 1,000 to 5,000, you can actually control where they are. And there is software now that can show you where they're from, but I wouldn't even worry about that. Start with small. I think it's the easiest thing for an entrepreneur to control is influencer. People get lost in Facebook, they get lost in that. Your product is built for visual. That's my opinion. That's where I would start. That's one person's thoughts. That's all.
Okay, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
That's all the professional TikTokers out there. It's a real career now. All right, Cassandra, leave us with a few more truth bombs and we'll keep going along.
One, this was brought up earlier. I don't have any experience in terms of like finding founders or anything, but lean on your community. We ran an event a couple months ago and somebody was actually trying to get into a retail store. And I found out 5 days later that person had sent something in the comments. And next thing they knew, they were getting into their first retail store because there was a retailer there. So like putting yourself out, I know it's really hard in like the current world, but as things kind of open up, like put yourself out there. Micro influencers, 100% go with that. I know you were talking about it, you have a hard time understanding like their engagement levels. You can actually go through and like look at how many followers they have and then go look at their photos and look at comments, see if people are actually engaging. Because like Raj said, it's really hard when they're like getting paid, but then they're just plugging products. Like it's not trustworthy, right? It's not it's not really engaging, and it's just, you can tell, right? And then kind of the last thing I would say, I'll like reiterate what everyone that said. Your branding is fantastic. I think you have so much opportunity with your social platforms, specifically Instagram. I don't know if you use TikTok, but I would try to like this, looking at your page on Instagram. I'm sorry, I keep looking this way because I do have a screen here.
That's fine.
I think like trying to like Instagram is like a lifestyle thing, right? Like people want to scroll through and resonate with what they're looking at. So trying to bring in a little bit more of like the real life scenarios of like, you talk about, you know, having this amazing morning, looking at yourself in the mirror and like doing your self-care, like put that in there. Make it that like the customers see themselves having this amazing like morning that you talk about. It's hard. Like sometimes I look through and I'm like, okay, this is like quite posed, and it does, you know, it does look really good, but having something that people are like, yeah, I want that to be me, and this is feasible, right? And then the last thing that I would say is like, you talk about how incredible the products are and like the ingredients, like the foraging. I had a quick scroll through your homepage and I saw 2 like really small parts where it says hand foraged. Like tell the customer why this is so important, that you actually have, you know, a piece of land where you hand forage this product. It is so important. And I think customers are reading through kind of the lines that advertisers are putting out there of like, this is the best product. Like they want to know like what it is. like the customers are really asking to know exactly what they're purchasing, and they're becoming way more critical. So use that, leverage it, because you already have it, right? And just get it out there.
Thank you. Really, really good advice.
Vladimir, you're ready to take on the world. You got
I am indeed. Let's go.
Yeah, you got that fuel under your butt now. All right. Moving right along. Thank you so much, Vladimir. We're gonna move to Navaline. I know your video was off. Are you back on? You there, Navaline?
I am here. Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me just I can't spotlight you without your video on, but if you're not able to do your video, no problem.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so thank you so much for taking the time to answer our question. My name is Navleen, and I'm the founder of Things for Natural Hair. Things for Natural Hair is a brand that sells hair tools for curly, coily hair, such as detangling brush and also spray bottles to help refresh curls. So I'm going on my second year of business, but I've noticed a decline in my sales from the time I started until now. I think it's because of competition and from customers being able to purchase the same products on Amazon and AliExpress. So after 2 years, I'm wondering if I should continue, or what's the next step that I should take to stand out from competition?
Great question.
Okay, well, I'm looking at your site, and like Cassandra, we also have a screen here, so I'm just reaching over Stacy right now to take a look. I think that one of the issues might be, that your images are very e-commerce centric in the sense that like they're all on white backgrounds. It's very much like Amazon, right? So I would really focus on investing in really good photography, some styled images, some models actually, using your products. You do have some cool images when you go to the first one, the Curls and Coils Detangling Hairbrush. Like there's a cool image with like the little tags and stuff like that. So really maybe work on your photography to really be able to stand out. Work on building a brand, right? So through socials, like we've all talked about and stuff like that, but really build up the brand to create that loyalty so people aren't shopping on Amazon or going to see like where they can find it on Amazon. Really speak to what makes you unique and different.
Yeah, like during the pandemic, we actually launched a hair cutting kit because people were cutting their hair at home. And, you can probably buy a hair cutting kit on Amazon, or you can buy it at Alibaba or wherever you want to buy them. But we really sourced the best shears, the best combs to put with it. We put our brand behind it. We took good images. We sent it to some professionals, and they were interviewed by some media about them. We sent it to some influencers who showed like how they would cut their own hair. So, thinking that consumers are just going to Amazon or Alibaba to buy a similar product, that's not necessarily the case. So yeah, that's.
And in terms of your other question, if you should continue, I think that solely depends on you. And in terms of if you're still passionate about it at the end of the day, if you've lost the passion and you don't believe in it, then your consumers won't either. So I think that's something that you need to sort of, figure out for yourself in terms of, are you still passionate? Do you still have the hustle in you to make it work, and then go from there?
Yeah. Thank you so much for your advice. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, thank you. Great advice. Got to keep that passion if it's not there. Definitely got to think things through. Rajan.
I could answer the second question better than the two ladies above did. I think I think they nailed it, right? That's on you. And if you got to have fire in your belly. It's okay. It's okay to not continue. Like that's okay. Great entrepreneurs. I talk a lot about 3 or 4 businesses, but I've probably started 20. I just don't really like to talk about the rest of them. But it's okay. It's okay to say no, but that's having a conversation with yourself and making sure that you really believe in it and you have that fire in your belly. And I think the previous comment was just bang on that. And then in terms of the decline in the competition, I wouldn't worry too much about competition. ultimately there's a lot of room for a lot of people in your space. What I would focus on is, I'm assuming that a majority of your revenue comes from your main product, your first product, which is the brushes. That's just an assumption. I would be building a brand around one product, and then the rest. Right now, it's kind of like a collection of products, and you're trying to build a brand around an entire category. It's hard for the consumer to latch onto that really, really early. And look, I struggle with that. Even, we have companies that do, 50 grand a year in sales. I have a company that does 300 million in sales, and we're still very focused. Endy is a great example. You ask, hey, what is Endy? It's a mattress company. Even though we sell, 15, 20 other products, the people know Endy as a mattress company. We launched a sofa. We have a weight blanket. We have beds. We have mattress protectors. We have sheets. But everyone thinks of Endy as a mattress company. And if you look at every one of my Endy ads, probably up until 6 months ago, so the first 5 years, the word mattresses was there. We wanted people to know what we did so they could latch onto something, and then you can start expanding. I think that's the best thing you can do, is build around a product and be the best at one product. And so when people think of your brand, they are like, oh, that's the place I want to go get a hairbrush. It's funny, Dyson, everyone, Dyson's got this new blow dryer and hair dryer, but originally, if you think Dyson, everyone will say vacuum. It's still there. It's so deep ingrained. It's only years later they started adding stuff. So for you, when your brand is, although I know this blow dryer is apparently amazing, so I've heard. But that it took forever. They built a brand around something. So I would not build it around the space. We didn't build around the sleep space. Maybe it's not around the curly space. It's around, this is the brush that you need. And I think if you can be the best at something, competition can't be the best at everything. So that'd be my advice.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. I feel like I sort of lost focus and try to do too many things at once and try to showcase too many products, selling them as a kit. But I do definitely agree that I need to go back and focus on that one product that actually got me my first customers. So thank you.
All right, Cassandra.
Yeah, so I look at this. I have looked at my fair share of websites, and when I look at these I think branding is going to be your biggest thing here. I look at the website and I don't get this sense of trust of oh, I will feel super comfortable purchasing from this. The reason why is that I think customers have gotten, especially over the last 2 years, drop shipping websites have been just popping up. And people have bad experiences with it. Their products don't show up in time. Sometimes the products don't show up at all. And a lot of the things that I'm seeing on this website right now, specifically like your product photos, I look at this and I'm like, is this a photo that you took off of AliExpress and then you went on here and you made a website? If you did, that's totally fine. I've seen fantastic dropshipping sites. And the reason why they're so good is because they concentrate on one or a few products and they concentrate on their brand. Why is it that the customer wants to purchase from your brand and this product where they could go and get it elsewhere, right? It's the experience, it's the branding, it's them being able to look at this and be like, yeah, I really resonate with this brand or this persona. So I think something to focus on is really those product photos. I think you have a really good way of showing here are all the colors, but I said this before, but you got to make sure that your customers are looking through this and they see themselves with this product. So add lifestyle photos, add, people actually physically using the product. If you have reviews, that sort of thing, you really want to build trust. And I think as much as we've seen such an increase in online purchases, there's also a ton of people that have recently had really bad experiences. And so you need to make sure that when the customer gets onto this website, they're like, I have full trust in this. Right. So I think those would be my two biggest takeaways. One other one, this one's a little nitpicky, but it's just because I see stores all the time. When you're on your website, you get a discount pop-up within probably 5 seconds of being on the website. With that time frame, people probably haven't even figured out what your product is or what the brand is. So give them a couple minutes before. Either set up the pop-up so it's when they're exiting, it pops up and it's hey, here's 15% off. or give them 5 minutes to actually scroll through, get to know the product, and then give them that option. Because immediately, I do it all the time. If I get a discount code right when I'm just get onto the website, I delete it because I want to keep looking, but then I can't find it again, right? So just the timing of that. And the other thing too that I'll say is go and look at some of your competitors' websites. What is it that you really like? And you can copy some of that stuff. Obviously, like don't copy and paste what they're doing, but like tailor it to what your brand is. But yeah, go and look at like what are your other competitors doing and see if you can integrate that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Navaline. Thanks, guys. That was great. It's great to have so many people from different stages and different challenges. And I feel like it all helps us really understand and help us all build better businesses. I know I've got a ton of notes. All right. Up next, we have Reem. We're going to try to get through 3 more people, and then we're going to take a little break, give everyone some time to stretch and go to the bathroom quick. So up next, Reem.
Thank you so much. Wow, this is all amazing advice. So thank you. I've learned already so much so far. So my name is Reem Khan. I'm the co-founder of Touré Home Decor Essentials. I actually have about 17 years of recruitment industry experience. So I'm more accustomed to the service B2B world. We recently purchased a manufacturing firm, which we actually use to manufacture our own Touré Home products. So we started off with our signature collection of home decor items that are multifunctional. I've actually written that down because I think I need to highlight that a little bit more. And they comprise of charger plates, trays, and coasters with multifunctional uses. One of the things that was really important to us was the Canadian supply chain. So we've highlighted that on our website as well. It was also really important for us to highlight like the founders ourselves. I think it's important to put our personal information out there. I think, you know, when you want to trust a brand, you want to see who you're buying from. Another thing is we really got into some of the details about our supply chain, our manufacturing processes being sustainable, our raw materials, as well as our packaging. It was really important for us that it was eco-friendly, recycled, recyclable, compostable in some cases. So we're really hoping that, you know, that all shows through in our branding. When we first started, which was last September, right in the middle of the pandemic, you know, it was definitely tough, but we were able to kind of piggyback on the fact that Thanksgiving was coming up and people were doing smaller events. And then we kind of added on the gift giving aspect of things and evolved into like a build your own gift box and that sort of thing. Not really a subscription box, but just something that would allow people to customize their gifts. And all of our suppliers are Canadian with Canadian made products. That was really important for us. Right when we started, we did a little bit of work with influencers like Joan Kelly Walker, Diala Canelo, and Susie Duragon, who are in the lifestyle and food space. We felt like, you know, their audiences worked well with that, but we didn't, as Rajan said, we didn't pay them, we gave them product. So, you know, I think right in the beginning, it just helped with branding, but we haven't done that recently. So I'm trying to understand whether that's something we might want to continue with. The other thing was that we wanted to get into wholesaling. And so we did get one wholesale order, but we kind of want to avoid the whole, I think we're trying to steer the traffic into our website as opposed to do Etsy or Amazon, like some people have recommended. We really want to stay true to the focus on buying local, and we don't feel like Amazon or Etsy really does that for us. So I'm not sure if, yeah, I just want to stay authentic. So that's something that, you know, I'd love to learn a little bit more about. And there was mention of SEO. So we did consult with an SEO professional, and he's actually advised us more so because we have some good reviews. There's not a lot of them, but they're people have been really happy with our products. He's actually advised us to focus more on Google ads and shop ad campaigns. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about your advice on those fronts.
I feel like Monica and Stacy are gonna have all the truth bombs for you right now.
Oh, I forgot to add one thing. It was really important for us to give back. So we actually give back to Tree Canada to plant trees for all the items that we sell. And we've done a couple of campaigns around breast cancer awareness as well as autism awareness. And those went really well. So we'd love to continue, doing campaigns like that as well. But we are kind of feeling like not being in stores or in a physical market where people can see our product as well is hurting us. But yeah, Shopify's been great. Another Canadian part of our supply chain.
Yeah, I think my initial kind of thought it has to do with branding and packaging a bit, in the sense of that, like, there's a lot that you're selling on the site. You have the products look really great, but I think that the brand kind of gets lost in all of the things you have on your website. If there was, I don't know if like the coasters and the plates and stuff come in some sort of packaging, I would recommend to actually like highlight the packaging that it comes in. Especially if you're going towards gifting, if you look at companies that focus on gifting, they really do highlight the type of packaging it comes in.
We did put a photo of the box in our build your own gift box, and our packaging is, as opposed to the items being really pretty, our packaging focus hasn't been that, because we have really focused on like being as green as possible. And so they're more like recycled boxes, cardboard boxes.
Do the coasters or anything have like your brands like in like sketch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're wood burned, like our logo is wood burned into it. So it's the exterior part of the tree trunk, and then just the word Terray and home decor essentials is wood burned into. Each set has like one coaster that has the logo on it. So you're recommending that we showcase a picture of that on the website?
Yeah, like I feel like there's a lot of products and there's a lot of things on the site, but I don't really feel like the product is like, I don't know, featuring the brand as much. So yeah, if that is like etched into the boards, it'd be great to have a photos of that as well that's shown. And then for the gift box, like do show in the first couple slides of the images on the home page, like what that gift box could look like.
Right.
A lot of people, I find, like even working with companies like Giftagram, like they want to see a sample gift box. They might know like they want a barbecue sauce and they want a cup, but like
Right.
showing them a couple of options with the nice packaging.
Right. I had to take all these photos at home. Like I bought a bunch of stuff from HBC and threw some tablescapes together. So I'm hoping now that things are opening up, we can get some professional photos done.
Yeah, no, don't worry. We took a lot of photos ourselves.
All right, awesome.
So that's my kind of.
Monica, Stacey, anything else you want to add, or?
I think on the wholesale side and the getting into stores, be careful there, because we went that route first, and it's great. It's flashy. It's wonderful to be in these great name stores, but there's so many things that you have to deal with. You need a full like department to just deal with like your onboarding, your routing guides, dealing with returns. There's just so much. You'll get charged if something is packaged a different way. So just be careful, unless you're dealing with small boutiques, which absolutely, if that's the route you're going, then that might be a better option.
We actually wholesale to one of our soap suppliers. So we kind of reached out to suppliers where our products were complimentary, and we customized like a soap dish for them. So they sell that on their website. They don't have a physical store, but it was just more like a bulk sale. Yeah.
And it is a great way to really kind of like legitimize your brand, and maybe choosing like a few hero products that you would go, to retail with, to, bring people back to your D2C. Now we're really trying to, we are in like a lot of retailers, but we've been through war, and we kind of are trying to scale back in the sense of building out our D2C more than the retail
and
side.
especially like the pandemic has changed the retail space so much. Like build your direct to consumer, really focus on that, making sure that that's working really well, and also they will come to you as well. So yeah.
Right. And do you recommend, like from a marketing perspective, like sponsored ads on Instagram and things like that? We did start off right off the bat with that just to get our name out there. But you know, I think the local community really wants to support locals, so we kind of started off there. But I'm not sure now where to continue to navigate it sustainably.
Yeah, but you just want to make sure your sites and everything there is working properly. Like you could be pumping lots of money into ads and people will be coming and you'll see an uplift in traffic. But if all of the actual like UX and the flow and the checkout process, if there's any holes there, you could just be burning money. So I think I would recommend to really kind of make sure that that process is working.
Got it.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna keep going. Remember to keep it to 2 questions, guys.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, Ree. We have quite a few people still to get through, and we want everyone to. We don't want all of our mentors to be dead the rest of the day. So, all right, Rajan, any other tips, advice for Reem?
Yeah, just quick. I think yeah, like it seems there's a lot going on here, and I think it's trying to decide where you want to hang your hat, right? So you have a lot of products on your site, but you don't have like a massive marketplace where people can find anything on your site. But then you have, you know, categories from like bath and body to candles to coffee, right? And so it's for a consumer, again, early stage, a consumer needs to be attached to something, right? I heard the previous speaker talk about hero product. Like, you know, there's a few things that just are, and depending on what your marketing channels are, people get attached to, right? So the wooden puzzles with tray, right? Like that could be a product, right? That becomes your, like if you look at any brand that's in the deck, or they're known for something and you're trying to be known for a lot.
That's the product, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that seemed like that would be. And so it's like, okay, great, let's focus on that. And then, you know, I think you can either go wholesale, you can go retail. I like the direct, obviously I'm a huge fan of direct to consumer. I think one thing that you can do that combines both is working with designers. And I think, you know, that's the power of suggestion, that like, this makes your home, right? And I think a lot of people, especially in this mid-range, they're looking for accessories to make their home even better. That's the power of some suggestion, right? Like you know, this is the thing that's going to make you feel like you have a design-driven home. And you know, their designers act as a mix between influencers, sales channels, and wholesale, right? And so they can be the one pushing the product without hurting your brand significantly. And then, you know, that's the product. And then working with your influencers to highlight, this is what we do. Because when I get to your site, like you can get lost in it. And then, you know, you really, if you know what you're trying to focus on, push them to one. That'd be my suggestion. Early days, really focus.
Yeah, I think when it was Christmas time, we kind of added a bunch of things and kept them on. Maybe we need to just rejig how that looks like.
Great points, great points. Simplify. Cassandra, any final words?
I would hold off on running any ads and putting any money in terms of that sort of thing. I would focus on your website first. Just kind of going off of what everyone else said, when I go onto your homepage, one thing to think about is basically when you go onto your homepage and it's like the first thing that you see, it's like the top of the newspaper, essentially. Like that is what people see and that's how people get their information. So I look at this and I'm like, okay, home decor, like this is what your website is. But then I start to scroll down, or even if I go into shop categories and I press shop categories and it brings up, the first thing that comes up is food items. And then I get confused. I'm like, oh wait, like, is this home decor? Like, what is this? So if you do,
okay. I thought it was coasters and service plates and trays that are at the top. So in the shop by category?
Yeah, so if you just go into like the menu.
Oh, the main, when you click on the main one, I see. It's sorted by price, so I'll resort that. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's just like little things like that. I would also, if you go into shop by category and then you have all of the categories across, and then you actually have to scroll through, that's a lot of choice for customers to actually go through and check all of them. So I would try to like, I think just working on the user experience of the website, I would personally go on their website and like go be a customer and send it to your friends and family and get them to give you feedback. Because I think there are just like a couple hiccups that are happening right now. Like now that I'm in the shop by category, and the only way that I can get back to the homepage is pressing on your logo, but your logo is quite small. And so you're kind of like, how do I get back to that? So just like it is a little bumpy going through the UX of your website. So I would say focus on that, focus on what you want your customers to be able to do and like what that experience looks like. And once that's all ready to go, then start thinking about ads. The worst thing that you can do is like put money towards it, then they get to your website and then it's hard for them to actually go through it.
Right.
So focus on that first, figure out what is it that you really want to focus on. Those food options can just be add-ons, right? At the kind of that post-purchase or right before you purchase is like, hey, do you want to add on this? You could keep that. And also just when I was looking at the bundles, like the first thing that came to my mind is like, you have food options. Like, why not make a barbecue one? I think Raj or somebody said that, but you get a cutting board, you get this, and this, and then you have the barbecue sauce. And that's just like a good package.
Yeah. And we have that, but obviously it's not showing up, right? So I think I just need to simplify so that you do see that right away. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
I need to go back to what I was doing before.
Yeah, honestly, figure out what you are focusing on, figure out what you want your customers to see right off the bat, and focus on that. And then you can continue to grow and you can add things, you can delete things. It's the best thing about online. But I think that's going to be your first like starting point.
Makes sense. Thank you so much for your time and all your advice.
No worries.
This is really great.
Awesome, Reem. Lots to take away, lots for us all to learn too. All of these learnings that you guys were sharing with all these other entrepreneurs, we can all learn from. That's the powerful thing of this event. So we're going to move to Laura, and then I think we're going to just give everybody a little breather. Sam and I are going to share some City Mogul stuff with you, so you can run to the bathroom or get some water if you need to. So Laura, you're up next.
Well, hi, everyone. Thank you so much for including me in today, and thanks for the mentors for your advice and your time and everything like that. So I'm Laura Baum, founder of Baum's Box. Baum's Box was started this year in February, so it's a very new company, just kind of starting it myself, trying to do all the different stages. And Baum's Box is the first dietitian curated food box in Toronto and on the market. So when you order a Baum's Box, over 30 non-perishable pantry staples get delivered to your door. So it's perfect for urban style settings where you have a small kitchen. You can't just go to Costco and buy everything, and you have to be really space effective. So you get a lot of items up here, and then you also get a healthy eating handbook written by myself, and I'm a registered dietitian and a certified diabetes educator. So not only are you getting all the food non-perishable to stock your pantry, you're also getting tools and tips and all the information you need to get started and give someone the gift of healthy habits for life, or when they're moving in for their first time or going to school or with a roommate or a partner or whatever it is. It makes an amazing gift. So it's great for housewarming. I've been reaching out to some real estate agents as a closing gift, a thank you gift, someone, if you don't want to take your kid or your family member to go get groceries, especially with COVID, this gift is great to just get it delivered to their front door. I started it because I've moved 3 times in 4 years. So I firsthand can relate to all the struggles that millennials, which is my target market, face when moving and trying to set up their kitchen. Even as a dietitian, I wish this box was here for me. So this is just trying to reduce some or one of the barriers that people face when moving. Never mind being, living through COVID and the lockdown and all the other experiences and the challenges that people face. I personally, my dietitian philosophy is that health starts at home. So what better way than to actually give the food as well as the information delivered right to your door to give someone the gift of healthy habits for, their lifetime, and just getting started off with really simple, basic ingredients. So I learned to cook with 5 simple ingredients in undergrad, and I just feel that message has kept with me forever and stuck with me. And I just want to try to give people the simple tools and the food to build comfort in their kitchen, which overall kind of helps promote health. So thank you so much. Some of my sticky points are really trying to have the initial customer acquisition. So I find that I'm trying to cold call people. I'm trying to do presentations at brokerages. I'm trying to get student ambassadors. I'm trying to do a push for maybe the summer students moving in to, a dorm style kitchen or their first apartment. And I'm really having trouble making the first sale. People are really, committed to their gifts, or real estate agents have a certain way and trying to change habits. However, once someone's bought a box once, most customers are repeat customers. So my agents will buy multiple boxes because their clients love it, or they'll buy for multiple family members because they know they love it. But I'm having a really hard time with the first initial sale to latch on and to grab someone. And then from there, my next question is, if this is so tough, some of the feedback I'm getting is that it's a big investment for their first time to build trust, to ask someone to spend that much in the first box. So should I go to something smaller, maybe the $80 to $100 box that is a little more tangible for more people, but then I have to sell more boxes to kind of make the amount. So do I go with something really good, or do I try to have another box to diversify a little, but then I'm cutting myself short? So those are kind of some general questions. In terms of all feedback is really appreciated.
Yeah, well, first off, really cool business. My husband's in real estate, and he always gives like move-in gift baskets when the clients like move into their house. And I've moved like 5 times in the last 3 years. So I think this is like an amazing, amazing business. I think that having a couple of different options price-wise would really help. And there's a lot of people that are moving into condos. There's people who are moving into houses. So you can kind of customize it. You can do like the student start kit, right? Like going off to university. It doesn't have to be in the 200 and something range, right? Even in our business, we launched with a premium product where our price points were $250 USD for tools. And we then ended up launching another line of products that we kind of internally call it the Lunata Light products, but it's the Belisa line. Still really amazing products, but the price point is like $99, like around there. So it really opened up a lot of doors for us, because not just on the direct to consumer side, we can kind of change the ads, right? There's some ads that go towards people who are more into luxury goods and have a higher budget. And then there's people who are into more like buying lots of different products, but at a smaller price point. But even on the wholesale retail side, we got into Target and Costco and Bed Bath & Beyond, where we wouldn't have really gone into those retailers with our $250 product. And I think initially when somebody wants to try this out, and as you said, after they buy that first box, they will be repeat customers. They might come back and buy your $250 and your $300 boxes, but the initial purchase, because they don't really know what the experience will be like, I think a smaller price point would really sell it.
Yeah, and in terms of getting those first customers, Raj mentioned it earlier with platforms like Instacart. Like this is perfect for that. I'm like, yeah. I order Instacart like 4 times a week, and yeah, this would definitely be something. Or like Uber Eats, DoorDash, Skip the Dishes. Like this is a box that I feel like many people would really like, latch onto, because it takes the guesswork out of, that first box. But I think also really focusing on how to create like lifetime customers. So like Stacey said, creating smaller boxes, creating more curated boxes for different sort of life events, or even just like daily life, right? Like new baby, like things like that, like baby essentials.
Lots
like there's
of babies right now because of COVID.
Yeah. I just had one 6 weeks ago. So things like that, just how to really, once you get somebody through the door, how can you really capitalize on that and create a customer for life?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my short thing on this is I think it's really interesting. Some have never thought of it, so I think it's fascinating, and the fact that people are buying is great. What I struggle with is the delta of a high price point, $249, with low perceived value price points when you have like Heinz or French or some stuff that you can are staples, right? And so that's the issue where consumers, although not always know exactly what they want to pay, they're inherently smart, and so they look at this thing and they don't see that the aggregate weighs into that cost, right? Or somebody's gifting it. You're not gifting luxury, but you're selling at a medium to luxury price point. And so that's a big delta here. I think again again, it's because you're dealing with lower margin product, because you're buying, even though you're buying in bulk, it's still third party product. It's hard to give away for free. And that concept of giving away for free is really hard, because if you're a small business, to give away product for free, it's very, very expensive. So, I do believe that you could have test products, or being able to even gift to these guys small amounts for themselves. There's a little bit of obligation there. Where I'd like to see this go, and again, just my opinion, is private label on this and white label on product, because you can build in your own luxury brand. Because then then it's Bombs bars, right? And there's a lot of private label out there. Then there's a perceived value. There's something luxury. Then you can build into it, because right now I think it's hard. There's too many reasons potentially to say no. I don't like that product. I personally, as a realtor, don't like that product, or I'm worried about the fact that he doesn't eat ketchup, So like there's too many barriers here when you have an aggregate of products. And when we were at Groupon, we'd sell these deals for 50% off, or you could go to a restaurant and buy a $10 coupon or $20 coupon for $10. But like we always tried to include as much as possible, and we found that we never said vegetarian options available in the fine print, and we'd lose 10 or 15% of sales. And for you, there's too many exclusions here, and there's too many reasons why someone would choose. It's easy for them to say no right now. And so you have to find a way that you kind of remove those easy to say no versus yes, because that's probably what's standing in your way. So the stack of conversion is easy to say no, and then you got to get them to say yes. You're still here because there's just too many reasons right now. Price point's too high. Don't know if I like the products. Is it the right product mix? Will they like it? Is it better? You have to now change them from a product that they're giving to something like this. So giving them an opportunity to either curate, or you build such a brand of luxury that a Bombs box, okay, that's luxury. And your cost, you'll actually increase your margins and have higher perceived value if everything's private label. And I think that's, and like, as you see, Trader Joe's and these guys, they keep everything at a low price point. And then it comes down to packaging. So I could see it going that way. But again, that's just throwing you for a loop. So think about it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, honestly, I think you're getting some fantastic feedback. I think the first thing that I see is like when I go onto this website, it says a dietitian curated food box for new homeowners. Right there, I think you've pigeonholed yourself. I look at this, I'm not a new homeowner, or I didn't just move. So I'm like, I probably don't need it. Maybe this product isn't for me. So I think taking a step back and really figuring out like, who are your target customers? If you want to be specific to realtors, go and talk to them and figure out what the products are that they would like to see in these boxes. You brought up the fact that this is a fantastic option for, university students that are moving into new boxes. Target people's parents, target those specific things, and have that option. The other thing I would say is like when I go onto the website and I go to the actual product, there are 3 different variants right now that is like new homeowner, a gift for someone else, a gift for you. When I actually click through that, nothing actually changes. So I don't really know why the variants are there. So it kind of confuses me. I'm like, am I changing what I'm getting? I'm not sure. And then I think the price perception, show people how much they're saving. Because exactly like Raj said, you look at products like, I can get some ketchup, I can get this, this, and this, but I could go down to the store and do the same thing. But if this is a cheaper option, that's going to push people to be like, I could save this much money, like add up all of the costs and show, regularly this would be this much, and it will push people to actually purchase it. And then the last thing, I know that we're like time crunching here. The last thing is, you started this off that you're a registered dietitian. Leverage that, push. Why are these the products you picked? Why are these the products in here, and your background? I think another thing that you can think of, I don't know if this is something you've gone down that route, but like, why not push your little book that comes in this a little bit more, attract people that way. And once they're there, they're like, oh, cool, I really like this brand. I really like this cookbook that I got. And I can buy this box that has the things that I need for this cookbook, it's kind of like you have kind of like a multifaceted way of bringing people in. But I think first things first is like figure out who are you targeting. If you have multiple target audiences, that's fine, but don't pigeonhole yourself straight on the homepage. Like maybe have a banner and it's like for homeowners and new homeowners, and that's what it is. For students, like this is what it is. Because the first thing that I see, I'm like, I'm not a real estate agent. I probably don't need to look at this, but I have also moved probably once every year for like 6 years at one point. So would have been really helpful.
Thank you so much. Really helpful.
Yeah, classic Toronto story. Move every
Yeah.
year. All right, we're gonna throw it to Anna, and then we're gonna take a short 2-minute break, guys. You're doing amazing. Remember to keep things short, sweet, to the point, so we can get through everybody. Thank you for all of your energy. You're doing amazing.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Hi, sorry, I thought we were having a break. Okay, cool. Hi, my name is Anna. I am, just a little bit about me, I'm an internal communication specialist, currently working as a freelance copywriter. But I started Lark. Last year, the idea came about when I was on mat leave. Pandemic mat leave specifically is a whole thing in its own. When I realized that there wasn't the kind of party goods that I was looking for when my daughter's first birthday was approaching, I came up with was an all-in-one party kit. So it's essentially everything you need for a very small pandemic-friendly get-together, whether that's a at-home birthday party, a gathering and a picnic in the park, something like that. And it includes paper plates, cups, wooden utensils, napkins, and candles. And it all comes in like a carry box. And the idea is that it's sort of an elevated party goods experience. The items are more modern, more stylish, a little bit more high end than maybe something you would get at the dollar store, and obviously the price reflects that. I currently have 5 different styles. There's 5 different options that you can purchase. And I think that this just launched 2 weeks ago, so in very, very early days of this. But I am confident that my customer will be somebody who's willing to pay for the convenience of having everything in one place for their small get together, somebody who's concerned with having that picture perfect party for Instagram, that kind of thing. So that could be like a busy parent or somebody who's organizing like a little engagement party or something like that. Yeah, so that's essentially what the product is. Questions, I mean, I'm really starting with the basics, how do I convert browsers on my site to paying customers? And I know this has been touched on a little bit earlier, but I kind of developed the packaging with an eye to also having this in small retailers. And I know there's pros and cons to doing that, but my thinking was if I could get into a couple of, boutique kids stores, would that be a worthwhile thing to pursue as a marketing channel to sort of drive some traffic to my Shopify site?
So first of all, love these products. Like they are absolutely beautiful. When I first went to the site yesterday, I was like, oh my God, these are stunning. I would totally get one. I think in terms of getting people in the door, especially early on, is partner with party planners, send them a bunch of these kits, and you've got your free promotion right there. There's so many like little picnic parties going on right now, and they're always taking amazing photos. And I think people are extremely visual. So these are beautiful on their own, but like really seeing it as like a tablescape and seeing it like with the beautiful, presentations that these party planners really put together is a really great way to kind of differentiate yourself. But yeah, beautiful products. Obviously, if you can bring in more for different themes and things like that, maybe some more masculine options. And I say that because I have 3 boys, so I would love to get on this. But beautiful products. Congratulations for launching.
Yeah. Are you in Canada?
Yeah, I'm in Toronto.
Yeah, I think, we've had a really great experience with Indigo and chapters. Yeah, like Indigo. And I think that product, maybe if you do go into retail, like their online marketplace that they have, you might not go straight into the store, but people are always looking for, gifts and event stuff. I think that this would look good, especially like the packaging that you do have, just to kind of get some awareness around the product.
It's interesting you say that, because I actually was able to get an email for the right person at Indigo last week. So I did shoot them an email. So maybe I'll follow up on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be a good call, but no, really beautiful. And I agree with Monica, like people want to see people using it, especially like in beautiful kind of picnics in a park or a birthday party. So that type of imagery would be amazing, because people will ask them, where did you find that? Where did you get that? But yeah, very cute.
Thank you.
I also love the product. I think the product's very cool. It's differentiated. Are you on Etsy?
No, just Shopify.
Yeah, I think Etsy would be a great platform for this.
Okay.
It just makes you have more distribution on it, but I really do like it. This is great for parties. It's great for weddings, and that's really viral as well. So you talk about, like, the good thing about weddings is people pay anything for their weddings, right? So maybe it's this price for this and double the price for a wedding, because that's what everyone needs.
That's true.
I think, but I think that product's really good. I don't mind it being in different places as well. I think that just gives you brand visibility, but I really think that's it. Like party planners, wedding planners, that's going to be your best distribution channel. I also, one of the things that you can get from, if you're looking for more brand awareness as well, is and when you get to it, is like licensing. We did licensing with, like, I hate to say it, Paw Patrol, and I've done a ton of licensing for Paw Patrol, and like it increased our sales on certain products by like 70-80%. So like, I see the cherry one at the bottom, super cool, but I mean, if you think of something, eventually that could be a special edition. That's the type of stuff that gets really good PR, that gets really good press, right? So unfortunately there's a lot there, and you got to be really careful, because your brand is so beautiful that you want to do the right thing without making it cheesy. So something to think about.
That definitely is something to think about. Thank you.
But yeah, I think it looks great. And I love these type of Shopify stores, because you can see it's really authentic. It's really you. It's built, it's someone that cares about something. I think that's probably, Sandra might say, it's like, this is the reason why Shopify was built, is for entrepreneurs like you, right? So I think it looks great, and I will order one at some point. Awesome. Oh, one more thing. When you get better at Shopify, as you learn over a period of time, like one of the big barriers and drop-offs will be, I need 9 cups versus 8, right? And so being able to add that additional, right? If you're having a 10-person party, now you have to order 2 of these things, right? It adds up. So being able to add on, and over time, and that might be hard from a production. This could be 6 months, a year down the road, but that will really help you if you're starting. But only get there once you start seeing a reasonable amount of orders, right? Right now, it's just getting enough out there. But I think that's again one of those barriers that if you could solve, it might increase your sales.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
This is awesome. I love this so much. I think you have launched with the perfect time. People are going to be so excited. I know that BC is like a little bit ahead of Ontario in terms of opening up, and we're allowed to have like outdoor gatherings and that sort of thing. And people are going to go all out. This is the perfect time. So congratulations on getting this up and running. Also, your little kits, they are so adorable. And I immediately thought like Indigo, like Monica and Stacey were saying, like this is the type of thing that, one, it's so well packaged, and their aesthetic is so, like, it really aligns. So I would for sure follow up with them. I definitely agree in terms of wedding planners, reaching out to them, but I would also go through and find those micro influencers of like moms. I would assume there's a ton in Toronto. There is a ton in Vancouver that are like they would like to have that aesthetically pleasing. Like they have new kids and they really want to like go above and beyond. And granted, their kids probably just had 2 years of no birthday parties. This is the time where they're like really going to go and shell out those extra dollars to make that experience. So I would go through and find some micro influencers that really align with that. And this is further out. But I would also take in consideration like the in-person selling portion of this, because your kits are so well developed, like pop-up markets. If you can get into like any, maybe like the holidays, like get into like Christmas markets, that sort of thing, just to like get people in front of it. But to be completely honest, like looking at this, I do agree with Raj, like you will figure out like, does 8 cups make sense or does 10? And your customers will tell you, like, take some time to figure that out. But honestly, looking at your website, like it's really well laid out. I think your product photos are fantastic. One other thing I would say is like maybe more of those lifestyle photos on your Instagram. But with that said, you get those moms to post photos, you take those photos, you put them on, like it is kind of that revolving door. I really don't see you having a ton of trouble getting this up and running, especially with the timing.
Oh my goodness, this has been great. Just getting the advice, but also, you know, just the encouragement is just been fantastic. So thank you, everybody.
Anna, on to something big. I feel like we all feel it in our bellies. We're like, this is cool. And you launched 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
That's bonkers. Well, we're happy you're here. I'm glad you applied. You were like, I know. Yeah, I'm gonna apply. That's absolutely amazing. All right. Before we move on, guys, if you just want to stretch, move, run around in a circle for 2 minutes, I'd encourage you to do so. We're more than halfway there. You guys are doing amazing. For those of you who are kind of new to our community and are like, what the heck is this event? I'm really into it. I really like this feeling. Like, I want to feel like this more and all the time. We have stuff going on like this for our members all the time through our mastermind programs, our digital events that we do every single month. This is the kind of feeling we're trying to evoke with everything that we do. And just to help you know that you're not alone and that so many other people are experiencing the exact same thing that you're going through. And the possibility of fast tracking and getting to your goals and vision for your company can be accelerated so much quicker when you're surrounded by the right type of people that believe in you and want to help you succeed. So just quickly to share for those of you who are new, City Locals has 2 membership offerings. We have the Networker, which is only $18.99 a month. You can cancel or pause it at any time. That gives you access to all of our virtual events. We do a women's only hangout every month. Some of you were there yesterday. It's absolutely bonkers amazing and just lights a fire under your butt for the rest of the week. And we also do a monthly networking happy hour. So if you're looking for co-founders, collaborators, partners, people to bounce ideas off of, this is the perfect event for you to come to every single month. If you're really looking to accelerate your growth in 2021, which I feel like we all are, because this is just the year to invest in yourself and take the time to really grow your business and you, our annual membership is $4.99. You get access to all of our virtual events, our accelerator program, which is a combination of both a mastermind group, which is when we match you with like-minded entrepreneurs and you meet weekly with those people. So you could be having conversations like what we're having today every single or every other week come the fall with entrepreneurs, and also being matched one-on-one with a mentor who's 20 to 30 years ahead of you and wants to help you grow and succeed and see you do amazing things. So our annual memberships are $4.99 for the year. We believe, and honestly, we were just so impressed with all of your applications for those of us on the call that aren't members, that we wanted to give you a little gift. So this is our gift for you. It's 25% off of our annual membership. Sam will be emailing you this code. It's Ecom VIP. You just use it at checkout. That's about $100 savings. So that's just our token of gratitude to you, that we believe in you and your business, and we can see you being a part of this community and contributing so much. So if you have any other questions about membership, like I said earlier, we have an open house coming up next Thursday. You can learn more about our programming, how to get involved. Also happy to book a virtual call with any of you guys and see how we can continue to support you beyond just this event. So how we all doing? Whoa. How are our Where are our mentors? They're coming back. Maybe ran to the bathroom quick. Dan, how you doing? You ready to kick us off next?
I'm good. I'm just suffering from this extremely long hair that I'm not used to. It's been a long COVID winter here in Toronto.
Yeah, you need a Lunata Beauty at home hair kit, it sounds like.
Yes, I need my hair straightener.
Yeah, you need your straightener and at home haircut kit. All right, Dan. We're gonna throw the floor to you. We're gonna keep going. We have just over an hour left. So just a reminder, guys, to keep things short and sweet. Mentors, if you can try to keep your points to maybe 2 or 3, just so everybody can get this amazing wisdom and insight that's coming through. So over to you, Dan.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm Dan, one of the founders of Wello. You can check out our website at bewello.com. When I entered my 30s a couple of years ago, I couldn't figure out why I had grown up, but so many everyday items in my life hadn't. With Wello, we've set out to reimagine essential bathroom products with none of the bad stuff so that we can smell good while doing good. Starting with deodorant, we're swapping the usual junk you might see for healthy ingredients, plastic-free packaging, and carbon-neutral delivery, all without sacrificing on performance. We've extended this philosophy to shampoo, body wash, and other upcoming releases to help keep you and our planet odor-free. Some quick facts about our business. We raised about $50,000 Canadian with Kickstarter in September of last year, 2020, and that was to fund our first big batch of inventory. We've been bootstrapping so far, my co-founder and I. We have no outside investors yet. We've mainly funded the business with profits from previous e-commerce businesses that we had started, as well as some skill sets that we developed along the way. We're currently in our first 6 months in business. We picked up a bit of PR and press wins, but I'll admit that this phase is way more of a grind than I anticipated. We're very much waiting for a magic moment when everything kind of clicks and comes together again, like with our Kickstarter campaign. So just want to give you a little context there. Our lead product is a natural deodorant that was formulated by the same team that created Native Deodorant, so a brand that exited to Procter & Gamble a couple of years ago for 9 figures. It's a really good product. It's hand poured in the USA. It comes in recyclable and compostable paper push-up tubes. And it could actually replace the nearly 4 billion deodorant tubes that end up in oceans and landfills every year. We had originally planned to run a different hero product. It was originally an alternate type of toothpaste. We just, it didn't pass our beta test. We pivoted to deodorant, which got some really good reviews. My co-founder is currently rotating out of the business, so he's just part-time at the moment. So I'm considering looking for a new co-founder. Our next steps on the business are, our vision is to get to our first 7 figures in sales with e-com and with a US focus. We want to use this phase to refine our products and communications, put a foundation in place to scale. We're really investing in SEO, PR, working out our influencer approach, trying to establish a community. We haven't succeeded at that yet beyond Kickstarter. So that's a focus of ours. We're trying to find some repeat customers that love us and really find the first 1,000 repeat customers that love us. We have our first customers coming or trickling in and buying from us again, but it's still very early. And look, our ambition is to eventually get to 8 figures in sales and figure out what to do once we get there. That feels like a long way away right now, that dream. So I guess the main questions I have right now are, how do we win in a battle against a lot of incumbents, such as Native Deodorant now, VC-backed players, and some other retail brands in the States? How do we stand out in a cluttered market where we're increasingly selling the same kinds of products as everyone else? And on those 2 questions, any fresh perspective you might be able to offer would be helpful. Do we stay the course as a deodorant brand, or shake things up and rethink the path that we're currently on?
So looking at your site, honestly, like, you're doing everything right. You know what I mean? Like, if you just looked at it as a website and a brand, the brand is on point, the website is on point, the imagery is on point. You've got the really cool, like, video going on. So, like, that side of the coin, like, it feels like you're doing everything right. I think your biggest issue or your biggest battle will be to convince people that this works, because as a consumer, I tried so many different natural deodorants because I too like switched to natural a few years ago, and I think I tried every single one, and I finally ended up with Schmidt's, which I'm sure you're well aware of. But I've tried Native, I've tried them all, and they just didn't work, right? So I think maybe really communicating that better, because I don't really see anywhere, like I see obviously the beautiful packaging and the fact that it's natural and plant-based and all that kind of stuff, but we want to know if it works, right? So I think maybe having that like front and center.
Put it to the test.
Yes. And there's another brand that did this really well. I think it was called Lume. You probably know.
There are so many.
Yeah, but this is the one that used that Harmon and Brothers to do that really funny like commercial and whatnot, and that's what drove me to order. Yep. They do a really good job of really communicating that. It didn't work for me, but I mean, like just having that front and center, I think would be my biggest piece of advice, because you're doing everything else right.
Yeah, I think a big thing is, throughout this whole entire mentorship video, we've talked a lot about focus and just how important being focused is. And you're saying, like, should you focus on deodorant, or should you start doing like an array of things? Like an advisor once told me, it's better to be the #1 knife company than the number 30 knife, fork, and spoon company. I think that if this is what you're going for, and this is the product that you feel is your hero, like you're really early on, so it might not be the hero. Maybe the soap is actually your hero product. But once you identify what that is, really do focus in on that one product before you start expanding into multiples, and developing more SKUs and packaging and all this stuff gets expensive, whereas every dollar should be spent on making that focused product successful.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thanks for the feedback.
Awesome. All right, Rajan.
Great. I'm going to rapid fire questions because I know we're in time. One, did you build the site?
Yes, with a local agency, yes. But I mainly did a lot of the UX.
Great. Looks great. As mentioned before, you obviously get it. You understand brand. 2, is volume of traffic your biggest concern right now? That's what you're trying to
Yes. Yeah. Efficient traffic. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think okay, let's work on those words. Efficient traffic. Most traffic isn't efficient, and we have to be okay with that. The fact is, like, you can't control who walks into your. So that's like standing at a retail shop and saying, I only want her, and her customer to walk in. Like, no way. Like, you got to just drive volume of traffic, right? The math is very simple. Traffic times conversion rate equals revenue, right? So you either have a F load of traffic. I'm standing now, so I get a bit more animated. I just couldn't sit for that long. Okay, so you either
could I say underpriced traffic? Would that be more fair?
Yeah. You could say cost. Yeah, I guess when you say effective traffic, you can say, but right now that's not even our focus right now. We just want to drive traffic. You can always optimize later. And the constraint that you have is budget. So you can only obviously drive so much traffic. We need to remove constraints at some point, right? Once you have enough, traction, you just want to be able to drive volume, right? And then work on conversion rate. Like I said, the product's really good. I know the space really well. I was first investor in Honest Company. I know Moaz from Native really well. Like, this is an amazing space, and I think there's a ton of traction here. But there's 2 things. One, the reason I asked whether you're having an issue with traffic is from a conversion rate perspective, you want to talk about the science and the technology behind this based on what the previous comments were. Like, why this? Like, I get it's plant-based. I love the tagline, the product and Mother Nature reviews. It's very clear. I think deodorant's a massive space. There's still opportunity. You're currently selling mainly in Canada. That's the goal right now?
Mainly US.
Mainly US, yeah. So there's a lot of competition out there, right? But packaging looks good. It looks nice. But like, I don't understand why. Why are you better? This is always like the science and the technique. First, you're saying, hey, this is amazing. It's a natural product. Great. You're capturing somebody. And now you have to explain to them why you're better than the others. It's, maybe that's it. Look, you're an underdog. So everyone's afraid of talking about the competitors. Compare yourselves to natives. why we're better than natives. Write that on your site, because honestly, everyone knows who natives is, or the biggest competitor. Now you're putting yourself in that space. You're drafting on them, right? You're so afraid to mention competitors, but look, a smart consumer is pressing one click and visiting that other site. So show why you're better, right? Because once you get, that's the conversion issue. And then from a traffic issue, I think this is something that you have to be, again, this would be a perfect celebrity type product, right?
Yeah, totally.
Makes a ton of sense, right? And this is something that you want to be building video content around, because it's so visual a product that you want to be pushing yourself out there and getting into people's hands. Like for me, this is about getting the reviews and getting a product review, whether it's like a Chatelaine in Canada or an L in the US or something like that, and then ramming that down. Like the product that's better than, and you don't even have to compare against natives. I'd be comparing against like the traditional deodorants, right? You're the underdog here. There's so much space here, but your issue is driving traffic. Don't think about effective. It's like find the right video, find the right content to push it through. But I think it's great. The last final thing is there's too much choice on the conversion page. So even on a hero product, you're like, there's deodorant, but to Monica and Stacey's point before, is like, okay, fine, let's say that's the product that you choose before, but then there's 4 options. I don't know what they smell like. So you need to put a power of suggestion on there that says most popular. Like tell people what the most popular one is. And that's probably the one that is the one that you like the most right now, right? Or that is the most popular. But make the choice for people, because as much as you say you've chosen a hero product, now they have to go choose 4. Like you're going to get significant drop off. I like the product. I like the way it looks. If there was one product that's most popular, I'd click on it. I'd try it for $16. But right now, I don't know what. I get stuck. I don't buy it. So, but you're doing a lot of things right. The traffic's the hardest. Focus on that.
Cool. That makes a lot of sense. I was just going to say the only other constraint is how do we get lots of traffic without flowing through our little pile of inventory? Like if we got a huge PR win and we're suddenly out of inventory, we don't want to get wrecked in that way. So I guess that's just something we're thinking about in the background too.
Okay, I'm going to take a look. If I have any other ideas, I'll send you know.
Sure. Thanks.
All right, Cassandra, super speedy.
Super speedy. I personally use native products and I have the push-up one. And I'm going to take a step back here. Okay, first of all, your branding is fantastic. Your Instagram is so funny. And I think you've really positioned yourself to compare yourself to other brands. And I will give you this idea. The push-up, the like cardboard version of the deodorant from Native, I can't physically push it up. Yes. I have to use a makeup brush.
Yeah.
So if you even just compared that to like, your product is better. Like if I can't find something to like that's small enough to push the actual deodorant up, I can't use it. So right there's like little things that they haven't thought about, and you have set yourself up with this persona on Instagram to be really funny. Leverage that. The other thing that we've talked about is reviews. Again, like it's really hard to buy something if you can't touch, feel, and smell it. So like be very purposeful with like what you're putting on your website. And then the refund policy. The refund policy I was looking is very vague. It's very like, you don't like it within 30 days, we'll talk about our options. Talking about my options with a brand after buying something for $16, not super interested in. I would say like, you can do your refund policy if you don't like it, you can get a refund within whatever days. Are people really going to go through and refund something for $16 and send it back or something along those lines? Probably not, but they want that sense of security. I have like 5 natural deodorants sitting over there. And if I had to physically walk back to take it back to shoppers, I probably wouldn't. But just having that sense of security of like, this person is really behind their brand gives me that extra boost of confidence to actually go and buy it. I do agree. I think you're on the right track. I think there's little things like that. I think you can really play on the persona that you've done. I would say like try to push your Instagram a little bit more because people check that stuff. So try to get those numbers up a little bit higher. And I think your website is fantastic. I wouldn't have anything to add except for just the refund policy.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the refund policy is that's very much our first pass. So yes, that's good feedback.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Cassandra. We have about 7 people left. And if I'm doing proper math, that's about 5 or 6 minutes each person. So entrepreneurs, they can see your website. We're dropping them in the chat. So just really get to the point with your questions so we can spend more time on giving you this valuable feedback. All right, Diane, you're up next.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so I launched a lash and brow retailing company over COVID, and my issue is every time I send out a newsletter, and I'm only able to send it out once a week right now, we get lots of engagement. It seems as though I'm having trouble with kind of getting repeat sales. So let's say last week, I sent out a newsletter and I spent the entire week promoting and engaging on social media. We'll sell out of that one product, but I'm not getting consistent, I guess, engagement, interest, and obviously conversion throughout the day-to-day. So that's my question.
Sorry, hi. Just looking at your site.
Yeah.
So how are you getting these first, like the first customers that are like, who's on your email list right now?
How are you capturing?
Yeah, so I try to not go into that detail part, but yeah, so the backstory is, because of timing, but the backstory is that I actually run a very successful lash and brow bar in Toronto. We're very reputable. I have about 4,000 to 5,000 people on my emailing list. Conversion for the newsletter is great. People are clicking, people are engaging. And then, like I said, I sell out. And what I try to sell out is one product per week for now. That's my strategy. I don't really know any other strategies for the time being, but yeah. So our clientele is our target demographic. So anyone over the age of 35 that are interested in enhancing their lashes and brows.
But is your list people who are your current clients, like getting their lashes done?
Yes, and we've been closed for, I don't know, like 16 months, right? So I needed to pivot. The first year was awful. We spent $100,000 starting up the business. And obviously, if you don't sell the inventory, because a lot of it is all natural, you know, if you don't sell it, it's garbage. So I've lost a lot, but trying to kind of gain momentum again. Yeah, that's it.
My only point might be that the list might not be the best list.
Okay.
I've actually seen your actual, like I would have to see what the newsletter looks like. There could be some issues there as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, even though we've moved into like closing of everything, there's people who love to get their lashes done because they don't want to do it themselves and they don't really know how to apply them, and it becomes like a big hassle, right? And there's people who love to buy it and do it at home, and that's like they're the consumer, right? So there could also just be like they bought it, they weren't able to really apply them the way they thought they could have. They've had a better experience at your salon, and so they're not repeat buying because they're just waiting for you to open. Whereas you might need to start actually capturing some emails of people who are searching for at-home solutions, so then your email list like could be better. That's my first kind of.
And my very quick notes, because I know Cassandra will definitely touch on this in terms of the website stuff, but I think really look first to your website. It doesn't really read to me like an e-commerce site. It's more like a brow and lash bar. I don't really I have to click around a lot to see that you even have products for sale. I'm sure she'll get more nitty gritty into that. And but yeah, that's where I would go for sure.
Okay, thank you, Monica and Stacey. Thank you.
Hey.
Hey.
Cool question. So just to clarify, maybe I missed it, but it's the newsletter is not converting or the email is not converting, or is it they're just not reconverting?
They're not reconverting. They're not reconverting.
Yeah. Welcome to the world of COVID, right? It's just like they're ordering, they're like that drop off is significant unless it's like food and beverage did really well, right? Because there was a massive reordering, but beauties had real struggles in this space. And I've seen it with a couple of my portfolio companies as well. It's people are trying it for the first time and then they have a lot of time in their hands to explore other places and other options. which is very different from being sticky as a loyal customer when they come into the store and they see you and they talk to you and they know your team, right? E-commerce is fickle, and you're experiencing that. So I think it's, you know, you're small enough now, I pick up the phone and talk to your customers. I mean, and I call my customers. I do a weird thing still today. I'll have a list that's put on my desk, and five customers a week. It's dropped now. It's like 5 customers a month, but it used to be 5 customers a week that I talk to and pick up the phone and ask why. And I know it's one of the most, like, because everything is so electronic, right? And especially if you're calling as a founder of a company, it's a lot easier, right? Hey, I'm the founder. I just wanted to check in on you. Like, it becomes a good customer experience as opposed to the creepy one where you're calling, because I know millennials these days don't know how to use a phone and you have to text them. But I pick up the phone and I call customers, and I still do, and I get very rarely do I get any pushback. But I found out a lot of stuff by talking to them. So pick up the phone and ask them.
Yeah, thanks, Ross. Thank you. That's great.
That's great advice. More calls. I'm always surprised when someone calls me. I'm like, this is a nice change. All right, Cassandra, take us home.
One, when you're saying that you don't have time to do more than 1 newsletter a week, I don't think you need to at this point. Newsletters take a lot of work and a lot of time and effort. If you can get people to convert with 1 newsletter, I probably wouldn't put too much more time in it. I think Monica and Stacey made a really good point in terms of like who your audience is that is signed up for that newsletter. I would start thinking like, you know, most of those people are people that want to physically come in and get their stuff done. Start thinking about people that aren't necessarily living directly in Toronto, who aren't going to be able to make an appointment to like drive down to be there. Try like outskirts. In terms of your website, I would, like Monica and Stacey were saying, is like very much like you look at this and you're like, okay, what are you actually trying to drive home here? I feel like you're trying to do 2 things. You're trying to be the studio, but you're also trying to sell your products. So you can have your studio information on there, but I think you really want to focus on the products that you're going to be selling. For somebody who doesn't do a ton of makeup and that sort of thing, I look at this and I'm like, I'm going to have to do this by myself at home. Sounds terrifying. Show how easy it is. Show how people have done it at home so that, you know, you get that sense of like, okay, I can do this. And here are the tutorials, or here are the how-tos, like that you have all of the information. I think of Sephora and how you can go onto the website and then it will actually show you the videos of like how to do it. That could help with conversion. And this is like one little tidbit, is when you look at your website and you have different tabs open, right now your logo is actually the Square logo. So if typically within Square or Shopify, whatever platform you're using, you can actually go and update that little logo. The reason I say this is like, let's say someone's looking at your website, and I don't know if anyone's like me, but I have a billion tabs open and I try to,
Sorry, Cassandra, I think you're looking at, are you talking about the service website or the beauty, the product website?
I've got the prettylittlesecrets.ca open.
Yeah, we're pretty, so I'm actually prettylittlesecretsbeauty.com.
Oh.
We had another email, Diane, or website, Diane, apologies. That was the one that was submitted.
Sorry about that.
That's all good. That's all good.
Give me 2 seconds, it's opening.
Yeah, thank you, Cassandra.
First comment, it takes a really long time to open. So that could be a deterrent. I haven't gotten there yet.
All right. I hate to cut it short, Diane, but we still have a few more people to get through. So I'm gonna throw things to Leanna. Thank you, Diane. Thanks.
No worries.
Yeah. All right.
Hi there. So as Avery said, I was Leanna. I'm actually out here on Vancouver Island in BC. And I have Big Venture Sales, which we've co-founded, and I'm the formulator for all of our products, which we do natural and health food products, our Crave Stevia line, which is all natural sweetener, which we do very well with business to business. We're in Whole Foods, Sobeys, which is Safeway, and Thrifty Foods out here on the West Coast. as well as well.ca. We're just building our online presence. Aromatic Creation is our other line, which does sustainably sourced essential oils and bath products. And we were actually just awarded a $7,500 grant from the BC government to build our website on Shopify. So my question actually more or less is, I've sort of got targeted questions to each mentor here. To Monica and Stacey, how do you gain brand awareness when you're a new brand in the e-commerce platform? And Raj, my next question is, what are some key metrics that potential business buyers would look at for a company? And for Cassandra, is there a limit to too many or too few apps within a Shopify website? So I'll turn it over to you guys.
Okay, so when I look at like Crave Stevia, for instance, I think the first thing that comes to mind is recipes, right? Because there's so many stevias out there. I feel like getting people through the door, you would do really well with things like Pinterest, right? So like creating really awesome content with great visuals of recipes. Swerve actually does a really good job of this. I don't know if you've seen their stuff. It's an erythritol. I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but they do such a good job. They have such personality sort of infused in their Instagrams and stuff, and it's all about their recipes. So I think that would be my little tidbit, doing a lot of Pinterest stuff, even some TikTok would be awesome, little quick, like digestible recipes and things like that.
I actually think I bought this product at Whole Foods.
Nice.
And I think one recommendation I would give is to do some YouTube videos, because in search, like after some time, it will go up, but also just showing how the product can be used on a day-to-day basis, because I think there's a lot of assumptions of when you would use it and how you would use it. Whereas it's so versatile. I bought it because I was doing like this meal prep plan and the person recommended it, and the things I was putting it into, I was like shocked. They were like, put it in a pancake and put it in your oatmeal and do it this. And I was like, wow, I'm actually using this product way more than putting it in my coffee, right? So I think creating some of that and getting that name, like there's a lot of stevia products. I bought it because I like the drops instead of like the powder stuff. Just kind of just showing through all of these platforms how this product can be used and versatile.
And one quick thing, sorry, because I just thought of this quickly. I use it for actually, like I use stevia for my mojitos and things like that. So it's the summer, like you can really get a lot of millennials that are watching their weight and stuff like that with like, make really cool cocktails that are still sweet. Yeah.
Skinny margaritas.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually we have a margarita flavor.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So the question was, what metrics do business buyers look for?
Yeah, when I'm looking to sell the business.
Oh, that's a big question. The answer is I don't have an answer to that. I'll tell you, it's it's revenue, right? That's what we focus on, right? It's like how big we're growing. And I think it gives a very clear path to real market share. I mean, it's so weird. I think one thing I always recommend to people that want to sell their company is, who's buying and who are you thinking about buying? When we built Endy, I thought, okay, who are the potential buyers, right? And there were all the traditional players. And then in Canada, there was really only a country outside of private equity. And so we realized one of the reasons we focused in Canada, we had sales in the US and we pulled back, was because Sleep Country as a brand doesn't care about US revenue, because they're a Canadian company that reports on Canadian revenue, and that's their entire brand. So they wouldn't value our US revenue the way that they would value Canadian revenue, because our Canadian revenue took away market share from them. So I think it's like, I always, if selling your company, which is a great option, if that is on your mind, think about who your buyers are. And buyers buy really for the two main reasons buyers buy is, one, you're taking market share away. Well, there's three reasons. One, you're taking market share away, which is revenue, right? So it's 100 million market share, you're doing 5 million, you've taken 5% of the market, and it's a pretty stable market. Okay, well, these guys are coming, we got to make a play. The second is technology. In this case, I'm not sure it's going to be so significantly different than the technology in the market. And then the third is for brand. And I think try to think of like where you're going to fit into that. And brand is, wow, it's a antiquated brand. They're old. Oh my God, like this stevia company has 400,000 followers on Instagram. The entire they're cool, they're interesting, they're different. let's take a look at them. And that's when there's a Wello earlier, right? It's a cool brand that might fit into a Procter & Gamble or J&J who are trying to make sure that they're getting ahead, even though their sales may not be significant. They might have something that they latch onto. And so then the metrics go into social following, which is surprisingly one of the reasons why a lot of the older brands or the conglomerates are looking at some of the younger brands is their engagement, right? They might not be driving significant revenue, but they have engagement, and then these guys can build distribution channels for. So I know that's a long-winded answer, but think about which ones can you guys win in? Is it brand? Okay, well, then I really want to be, or who am I targeting? An old company? Okay, brand will really matter. But if it's really anything, it's focus on your revenue, be very dialed in and focused on that. And I think that's just taking market share away.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I just need a tiny bit of clarification. I don't know if you said this right at the beginning or if I missed it. So basically what you're doing with these Shopify stores is you're actually going to build 2 separate stores for each product.
Two brands, 2 completely separate. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. In terms of apps, the one thing you need to be careful of, I don't want to say you can't have too many apps because likely at one point it will slow your website down. But what I would say is there are a ton of apps out there that can do multiple things. So again, go and look at your competitors. What do you like that they are doing? What do you not like as a customer? What is the user experience? What are like things that you need to have on your website? Like, do you want to have pop-ups? Do you want to have discount codes? A lot of those apps actually now can do multiple things. So I don't want to say like you can't have more than 10 apps because you can. What I would do is like go through, think of the ones that you want, test them out. A lot of them will have free trials. You can easily delete them, but test them out, make sure it works with the user experience that you're wanting to go for. And then the one thing that you really want to keep an eye on is site speed. If something is taking too long to load, people are going to X out of it. Customers are very impatient. They're just trained to be like that now. So just make sure anytime you're adding an app or adding anything to your website, go and test it. And test it on your mobile device as well, because that's another big thing is I would say over 70% of people are on their mobile devices. And if that app isn't coming up and it's not, the user experience isn't built for mobile, they will get off of it and they will potentially say, oh, I'll go and look at it on my desktop, but they likely won't unless they send themselves like the link somehow. So I would say like test your apps and you can always delete them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No worries.
Guys, we're doing amazing. We're doing it. We're getting through everyone. Up next, Ria.
Hi, I'm Ria. And I'm going to try to explain really quickly because I'm going to be your first digital product that we'll be talking about today. I don't have a physical product. I am starting a marketplace for dance teachers to sell digital resources. So I'm a dance teacher. I own a physical dance studio in Ajax, Ontario, and I'm a K-12 teacher teaching grade 8 currently. So most of my year has been online and I've spent a lot of hours creating digital resources. Which originally I was going to sell individually, but then I also manage a team of dance teachers who also created them. So I wanted to be able to compensate them in a way that we built a community. So my question is, and my site is not very, that is made in the last 2 weeks in order to explore if I could even use Spotify, because when you're creating an e-commerce marketplace, there was a lot of research that had to go into it before I could get to this moment to say that I was actually going to use Shopify. And it was, I had to learn a lot about apps. So I built that basis of a website that is functional. So I understood the 2 streams of revenue I would have and how I have 2 audiences, which are expert dance teachers who are creating resources, but also new dance teachers who don't have the time to make their resources. So my questions are, how do I build a consistent brand while building a marketplace where I want to encourage individuality? One of the things that was really important is that tech isn't big for dance teachers. We never really had to really join our, technical skills. So a lot of dance teachers don't want to build their own sites. So that's kind of like how I'm marketing to them. And then how do I, since it's a digital product, I don't have a physical product. what tips do you have for selling digital products in comparison to physical products?
Okay. We're just talking
Sorry.
about me first because we had a marketplace. So we're like, okay, there's so much and how do we condense this? But we have an online bakery marketplace and it's always like what comes first, the chicken or the egg, in terms of who you're going to bring on first. And I think for us, the main thing was reaching out. For us, it was bakeries, right? So for you, it would be dance teachers. So get that, that pack of your expert dance teachers on board first. And make sure that you have this really robust marketplace with all these amazing teachers that have all their stuff already, set up and everything. You want to launch with a good amount, right? Like we launched, I think, with 100 bakeries. So that's a lot. I get that, but we wanted to make sure that there was a lot of selection. There was obviously ours had a physical product attached to it, so it's a little bit different. Digital resource, like the world is your oyster. Literally, you can literally go worldwide in terms of getting dance teachers. So I think that's where your focus should be first. Get a really amazing product, which is your dance teachers, and then focus on bringing people in the door.
I bought a lot of digital resources recently during this pandemic. I was pregnant, so I had to buy digital resources for all like the prenatal. Then I tried to get my summer body back, so I bought like a bunch of digital things for like fitness and nutrition. And I think that the world is really moving towards being really understanding of that. And there's a lot of different models of how they are sold, how they're promoted. But a lot of them do kind of give a little bit for free, like through their social media accounts. So you kind of buy into it a little bit before buying the whole thing.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's a great time to start this for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I spent about $1,000 on digital resources as a teacher this year. So I was like, there's something here.
I'm gonna focus. Hey, how are you, Ria?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm gonna focus on the second question because I think they nailed the first one. The second question is digital versus. For me, it's format. It's consistency of format is super important. Your biggest competition is YouTube, right? And so, why does someone go here versus there? It's simplicity, it's ease. A lot of the same stuff that we're talking today about the user experience, right? Like you want to be able to have an easy, functional usability in the product, right? And so you can do things which TV can't do. You can do things that YouTube can't do, which is create a format that somebody's buying into. So they're buying into the dance teacher, right? That is the product, right? And so maybe it's the recognition of them, maybe it's the scale of them, maybe it's the diversity of them. But the one thing that goes with that is that the format is consistent. If you look at all the digital platforms, you look at like a masterclass, for example, which is a great example of a digital platform, right? It's pretty consistent along the board, right? It doesn't mean that the timing, they all need to be 7-minute classes, but it's got the same feel and touch to it in terms of how it's operational. I think take inspiration from the digital content that's doing really well out there, right? Peloton's built a great digital product in the fitness space, right? And people are using it. And yeah, it is tied to a physical product, but like you said, one of the reasons people like digital learning is the fact that they just don't have to go through all the BS that surrounds the rest of the world, right? You're formatting it, it's easy, so they can move on from class 1 to class 2. And so it's the ease and simplicity. Okay, so I get there and there's just so much in this marketplace. How do I navigate it? You might just say, okay, this is the first class you take. This is the second class you take. You build a schedule for it. They feel that they're part of a community. And that's, it's just really important you think of the word format and that format stays consistent across the board. That's what makes great product, right? It's the same as physical product. It makes it the same consistency across the board. People get used to it and then they can engage more, right? So that's my thoughts.
Thank you.
Hi. So I feel like you probably want to figure out like what is the first thing that you want to do right away. So like, is it that you want to build this great marketplace and then you have customers come in and purchase, tutorials from that? Or is it that you want to have this template that dance teachers can then use? The reason I say this is you're going to have two completely separate audiences. So you got to figure out which one do you want to start with. Either one I think could really work. An app that I would say, I'm sure if you've been learning about apps, Thinkific is a fantastic app that basically what they've done is like they've been able to create like you can basically use the app to create courses. And so you can buy this course and it's either you get it as a lump sum or it's like, okay, here's day 1, day 2, day 3, and it's like digital goods. So very specific to digital goods. So I think that would be something to look into.
It's attached to the Spotify, like you still sell it through, Shopify. Sorry, my words wrong. You still sell it through Shopify?
Yeah, my parents think I work for Spotify.
I'm old at heart. I'm like, okay, but I use.
Yeah, so it can be integrated.
Do you know we have WebQL attached to? It's like the marketplace app.
Okay.
So some of my digital resources are not. I know that like when we hear digital resource, we only hear courses. But for example, like when we teach a dance class, it's like a PowerPoint. Like we do a lot of screen share now in like all of our online classes and stuff like that. So teachers have to spend like extra hours creating all of these like extra resources to like, so what about a video, like video storage? So like if I have video, we've done it through like PDF hyperlinks, but is there an app for storing video on Shopify? I've been looking for one and I couldn't find one.
There's just digital downloads.
Yeah,
it's free. Yeah, that one's really easy to use. Thinkific would be more of like if you wanted to sell courses and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm also just going to plug this event because it's happening today. I don't know. I think you can get a recording after it.
Okay.
I'm going to pop it into the chat, but it's called Inspiring Independence. And it's actually an event specifically for artists who have gone from like in-person stuff to digital and like how they've transitioned and how they've potentially used the platform to do that. So it could be a really good one just to like tune in for. There's some pretty fantastic panelists on there and I think you can get the recording, but it could be just a good way to like kind of open up your eyes in terms of like what else you can do with this. But I think like the marketplace option could be really good for you.
Thank you.
Love that, Cassandra. We're actually, a lot of us are undercover dancers. Myself, my co-founder, Jenny, Samantha, our program coordinator, we're all dancers. So I'm like, an artist event, let us know. That's very cool. All right, we have 4 people, 20 minutes, 5 minutes per person. We can do it. Annie, you're up.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Annie. I'm the founder of My Filibo. We are a destination gift boutique where every pieces celebrate African and Caribbean heritage. So we draw wearable art, accessories, stationery with Afrocentric designs. I sell on 2 platforms, Etsy and Shopify. Most of our customers are in the US. So my challenge is regarding building and hiring a remote team versus freelancers. So I'm currently working with freelancers, but in terms of consistency for the brand voice, even the content creation, like I don't really like it. Like I can work with a freelancer, it's amazing. And when I try to hire them again, they are not available or they're working on different projects. So I'm trying to build a remote team and hiring, but I'm having challenges to hire them. And also, second question would be around standard operation procedures. So if I can have any advice to build procedures and processes, so when I hire a team, I can onboard them more efficiently. And I'm a one-person solopreneur. Like, yeah, I'm running the business on my own.
Yeah, we could talk to this. We didn't really hire our first employee for a while, mostly because of budget restraints and, not really having the money to hire a full-time person. But we started really slow and hired like the most essential position that we felt both of us really like couldn't manage ourselves, and started growing from there. And now we have lots and lots of employees, but we started out with like the most important position that we needed to fill. Well, at least that's what like we felt, and that person's still with us till this day. And the way that we went about hiring them is we posted on like LinkedIn, Indeed, and then we asked our network to share it as well, because we wanted to see, you know, we have our network, but then there's people who have bigger networks. So LinkedIn was a good one because as people would share the job posts, more and more people would see it.
Yeah. And then in terms of remote, I mean, this is the right time for that, right? People are so accustomed to working from home now. I feel like nobody wants to go back to the office. So, you know, you don't have to focus just on Toronto. You can go outward, obviously, and see if there's talent elsewhere. So, yeah, in terms of processes and stuff, we're not the right people for that in terms of hiring, because we don't really have a good process yet. It's literally just like going through resumes and doing Zoom interviews, and that's it. And you know, yeah, maybe others have better advice for that. We're still trying to figure it out.
Hi, Annie. Brand voice. Yeah, it's such a hard one because it comes from you, right? It's ultimately, as a solopreneur, you can't really leave it in other hands. The best thing I've helped others on is take the time to build your brand guide. And you know, if you're using these freelancers, right? So you're very, very clear on like, this is what I want. And often the time it's hard for people to see from a writing. It's okay to show them other sites. Usually your brand or your voice is inspired from other more complex sites. And so I think it's very much okay. One of the things that I haven't highlighted much here is the ability that it's very much okay to copy. And if you see stuff you like, it's actually the easiest way to scale for a lot of the newer entrepreneurs is, this is what I like, let's build that. And it's actually very easy for others to latch onto, as opposed to you trying to develop that. It's really hard when you don't have your own team. So I do agree that like, as you want to build a brand and as you get, you know, larger and larger as you scale, that's important for you to have control over. I never used one of the advantages on a couple of our brands, including Andy, was we didn't really use outside agency because we wanted control over our brand. But it's expensive and it took time, and it was a big risk we took early on. And so I like the fact that you're thinking about that. And I love the fact that you care so much about this. I think it's super important early days. And so I think just the fact that you're thinking about this means you're on the right space. But yeah, my advice there is just build a brand guide and then point others. People need to see and touch feel stuff. It also allows you to have that conversation to say, hey, like this is exactly what I wanted. Versus, hey, it just didn't feel right, and now you're having these bad experiences as well. I also bulk bought hours with freelancers when I have in the past, where you're not committing, say, but I'll commit to you to X amount of hours, so they feel that you're buying their client time. They might be booked now, but I know this sounds crazy. Like, you have to think now for the next year, because in 3 months from now you'll probably want to work with the same people. And then on processes, I say I wouldn't even think about that. The first person that joins you is going to be an experience. And the first 5 people, you'll build it. Usually when you're onboarding, it's like, you're the 1 and they're the 2, and you'll work together and figure it out. Right. So hiring is always, it's nerve-wracking, and you want to do things right, but this is not, like we said, good is good enough. This is not about perfection. Hire that person on, figure it out. I think most people that have hired that first person barely paid them the first paycheck, or they hire that person to figure out how to pay yourself. So like, it's, these perfect processes, don't think about that. Think about how do you scale your brand, and things fall into place. Entrepreneurship is supposed to be messy, early days, and it's okay to be messy. And that's the only encouragement I can give you thing. It's like, almost, you don't want to fit this into a box. The messier it is, the more stuff you're creating, and the more headache it is. That's part of the gig. So I wouldn't worry too much about process there. I think it's more about just having someone that you connect with, especially when you're early days. That's the person that you need to be able to have a coffee with, and this person that you can call, at 10 o'clock at night. And I think that's going to be really important, that you find that right connection. And I love the mission and what you're doing, and I think you're highlighting, BIPOC entrepreneurs and products, and I think that's super cool. So congrats.
Good is good enough. I like that, Rajan. All right, Cassandra, any final points?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton of experience with like the onboarding and that sort of thing. But to make you feel better, like Shopify is not the smoothest onboarding process. And we still are trying to figure out what the heck we do when we get into a new role. And like, I think the processes or like the organization of it is going to be important. But like Raj said, it's a bumpy road. And even companies like Shopify still have those bumps in the road. So it's not something that you need to figure out right away. I think like once you do get somebody on board with you, I think like looking at your website and really trying to figure out your branding and trying to have a little bit more of the lifestyle portions to your website is going to be really, really beneficial. But yeah, try not to make it perfect in terms of like, okay, when you're onboarded, you're given this document and you get this, this, and this. It's the first person and it will start to develop. But even companies like Shopify are still trying to figure that one out.
Good advice. Thank you, Annie. We have 3 more amazing entrepreneurs. We're almost there. Our mentors were at the finish line. We're nearly there. So up next we have Linda.
Hi, I'm Linda Samko, founder and CEO of Style App. We connect customers with personal stylists to shop together. The reason why I created the app is because I had this closet full of clothes and I didn't know what to wear in the morning. I go shopping, I wander aimlessly through them all. And I kind of envisioned pulling out my phone and getting connected with a personal stylist like an Uber. So that's kind of our type of service we offer is like an Uber setup. We're really unique because we offer in-person styling. And I launched last March of 2020, fun during a pandemic. And so we quickly pivoted to virtual styling where we offer like a closet edit and shop online using a Zoom screen like this. I absolutely love what we do because we really, want everyone to look and feel their best. So where I am in my business, I hired a PR agency, which was fantastic for brand recognition and got me into a lot of publications, but I realized that's not a long-term marketing solution. So I have 2 questions, please. I'm starting some Facebook and Instagram ads. And so any advice you can give me on digital marketing, greatly appreciate it. And my golden ticket, that would be like to partner with Cadillac Fairview or Oxford Properties, because I feel like, my app is an company. How does a small fish like me get in to talk to them? And do I wait till I have more sales, or do I just go in and tell them who I am and see what happens? So any advice, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it looks great. I know some people who would love this, so might send them your way. But I think my initial kind of comment would be that, people love to see real people going through like before and afters.
Right.
There's lots of TV shows about this. There's lots of things, even Instagram influencers where they do like a haul of some store that they went into and all the items that they bought. And there's a lot of like kind of edits that you can do with Instagram, TikTok, and all of these to really play fun with that, right? So doing like a closet before, closet after, or you could take a certain persona, like somebody who is a stay-at-home mom going into the working world, like redoing her whole wardrobe. I think people really want to see like the real world, real life kind of experiences of going through this process that you created and what that feels like. And then maybe on the influencer side, like working with some influencers who have certain moments in their life, whether it's like going back to the office, like right now, that's like a big trend. Are we going back to the office? Are we ready? Like we have to wear heels again. So you can kind of use that and partner with some of the influencers who do need to go back to the office and show how you've helped them kind of style their wardrobes. Yeah, I think that's like a big one, like seeing real people that you might already know and follow going through the process themselves of finding like a stylist and them coming and helping them, or even a virtual.
And then in terms of the big fit or small fish kind of conundrum, like fake it till you make it. We got our first retailer when we just launched, and we had one product. We were selling on Amazon, and we reached out to a bunch of retailers, and we ended up getting into Nordstrom. literally with one product, fulfilling stuff, like fulfilling all of our orders from my dining room. Like we put my home address like in onboarding documents, and we're like, we'll figure it out later. So, you know, don't approach them as like, oh, I'm new, and you know, hopefully you could take a chance, but have that confidence and act, you know, as if you are where you want to be, as if, you know, they are the ones who would be lucky to have a service like this at Cadillac Fairview, because that would really help their sales too, right? So I think going in with that sort of attitude is key.
Yeah, confidence is key. Like when we got into Nordstrom and Holt Renfrew, literally people thought we were an American company with an office in New York and LA and like a head of PR. And Monica and I were all of these people ourselves. So
we had personas.
We had personas. We had fake emails to make it seem like we had a bigger company than we did. So yeah, like don't come in saying you're a small fish, really show like what you've achieved and done.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
I love the last feedback. Poor Cassandra, nobody can say I loved her last feedback. She's given amazing feedback, but I'm always like, I love the previous one. So, but yeah, I think it's, yeah, like you got to go at it, right? I mean, and I got when I was at Groupon early days, we focused on local business, and then we always were like, let's go sign the big merchant. And I've physically been escorted out of like Starbucks headquarters in Seattle, like physically escorted out twice. That's like a whole story for another day. Like, you know, like, and that's okay. And it made me realize that we wanted to focus on smaller merchants and build up when we were building Groupon. But in my head, I'm like, well, we'll go after Starbucks and we're gonna make $1 billion and everything will be okay. But we were too early for that. But at least I tried, and now I have a story to tell. But I think it's definitely, you know, the best thing to get to is like, so everyone always reaches for the top or reaches the bottom. You try to, you know, people like, I tried and I reached out to Oxford and they said no. Like, there's 1,000 people that work there, and you got to get to the right person. And you're always looking in these types of companies. You're looking for your hero, right? Your mentor, the person that's going to be your champion. Champion's the best word for it within the company. And to get to your goal, there's usually 10 or 15 people that could be your champions, the ones that have influence, that have a voice. Sometimes it's the EA in the company that just has the voice, right? And so like reaching out to the EA of the person that you want to reach out to and offer him or her, you know, like, hey, I'd love to like give you a stylist. I think you're amazing. Like I've always, you know, EAs are underappreciated, which they are, by the way. And so like, find out who that power person is, because it's unbelievable how many ways you can get to what you need to do or get your meeting, right? Oftentimes, if your product is good enough, you should be in that store. The hardest part is getting the right meeting and getting the right people. So find your way in. And you know what? This could be a 12, 18, 24-month battle, but start it now because you never know what happened. When we sold Any to Sleep Country, we were doing $1 million in revenue, but we got a meeting. And then 4 years later, they bought us, and they made a lot more money than they would have paid 4 years earlier. So it worked out for us. And so like we started that stuff now. When you talk about acquisition earlier, start that now, because in 2 years from now, you might be like, I want to get into them. But now you've got at least deep conversations. You know, time flies really fast. And sorry, I know we're running out of time here. So the last one on you've got press and you've got PR. I would absolutely be using what works for us, because people are getting sick of ads now on the standard platforms, is let somebody else, you got all this good PR, it's not wasted, it doesn't last forever, but make it last forever. Find the article that has the best title and let somebody else talk about how awesome you are, versus you being like, here, check out Style App, you know, the blah, blah, blah. It's like, let the Toronto Star, let like Chatelaine, or let whoever your CBC say, this is, you know, like check out Style App, they're amazing, right? Or meet the company that brings 1 hour styling to your home. Because I think it's always better to have a recommendation. And that's the type of content that we're reading organically on there. It performs much higher when you have third-party content versus your own content directly, unless your own content is just through the roof. And so now you have trust that you're building in a brand of a small company, and people are scared to get a stylist, right? Like the first step is not easy. So giving them that trust is really important. And also like, maybe it's the product that you're selling is like, you know, get restyled in an hour. You're like, okay, I would try that out. But to have an entire style, oh my God, do I have to organize my closet? It's like the people that clean before the cleaner comes, right? Do I have to organize my closet and get it? Is there a lot of work to do? before I actually get this appointment. You want to make it easy and accessible. So those would be my tips.
Oh, thank you. Love it. Love everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajan. Do our mentors have a hard stop at 3 o'clock? I just want to be mindful. Like we could go to 3:05. Okay, we can go to 3:05 because I feel like for our final two, maybe we just have two of our mentors speak just so we can ensure that they get your energy. So Linda, thank you so much. We're gonna move to Nicole.
And Victoria, can I just add one thing?
Of course.
Really quick for Linda.
Yeah.
One thing, just looking at your website, put photos of the actual app on it. Because I'm scrolling through and it's like download, but if I'm not 100% sold, or if I don't want to go put my email on, like at least I know what to expect and what like that user experience could potentially look like. It doesn't need to be like of every page, but just there's a couple of photos on there of like screens that have nothing on it, even if it was just a photo of a screenshot of like what the app looks like.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Thanks.
Hey, Victoria.
Yes.
I'll move it's a call. I'll move it. I'd rather give everyone a fair chance. So
you guys are amazing. We're very grateful, and I know they are too. So thank you guys. Thank you, Linda. Woo! We need to talk because I can talk to you about partnerships with like us building partnerships with City Moguls. So we'll have a separate conversation.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Nicole.
Awesome, guys. Rajan, I'm so grateful that you're able to give us a couple more minutes here. So I'm Nicole Farbrov. I'm a co-founder of Neva Baby, which is an e-commerce Shopify store, and we specialize in prenatal and postnatal products. Our goal is to basically build products that allow mothers to connect with their babies at home and create products that spark joy. So we've been in business since 2018. We've come a really long way. We have 7 product offerings right now, and our bread and butter is a fetal Doppler, which allows women to hear their baby's heartbeat at home. Our newest product is a UV sanitization box, and we just built an app that's launching in 2 weeks that actually connects with the Doppler. It also has a kick counter, so it entices people to continue using the app throughout the pregnancy. And I'd say we're not in a startup phase. We're definitely growing. 97% of our business is in the US. We just expanded to the UK. We're working on finding a fulfillment partner in Canada. And the first 2 years of our business, we really heavily focused on building out a paid strategy. So we had Facebook ads, Google Shopping ads, but the Facebook and Apple advertising update really hit us hard this year. So I'm not sure if there are any other entrepreneurs feeling it, but that's where all my questions are really focused on. So past 2 years, especially when we were early on, we were trying to build brand equity. So paid media was a very big strategy of ours. Since the update, we removed our ads recently, we revamped them, and then our sales dropped 60%, which is significant. So we decided to just turn them off temporarily and focus on lower volume, but increase our profit margin. And now we're in a position where we have way too much inventory. So how do we continue to build brand equity and focus on driving organic sales? Let me preface by saying we work with influencers, we have affiliate programs, we've done a lot of SEO investments, and we recently implemented a PR strategy as well.
Okay, so very quickly, Stacy and I both had babies in the last year.
Yeah, and I'm pregnant again, so I'm gonna have 2 babies under 2.
So we both use products like this, and I think that you really need to speak to kind of the emotional aspect of it. Talk about the peace of mind that this Doppler offers, because obviously, like anyone who's been pregnant knows that the first, 12 weeks is really stressful. You don't know what's going on in there. Some people aren't getting like ultrasounds until God knows when. So really speaking to that peace of mind component is key. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, we like a fund that I'm a part of invested in the Owlet, like the stock.
Yeah.
That's for babies, and like that's exactly what they really focus on is the emotion, right, and the kind of fear that parents have. But when it comes to the Facebook kind of upgrade with the ads, we've seen it too, but we work with an agency that kind of monitored it and went over it. But I think that a big thing is sort of like having more of the videos and visuals, because when I was telling other moms about the fact that something like this exists, many of them had like no idea. And then when I gifted one of them to a friend, she had no idea how to like use it. And she was like, where do you put it? I don't hear my heartbeat. And like, there's also a little bit of a there could be like a freak out moment, right? Because they just don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
I think that like also people aren't really sharing the fact that they use it. Like I haven't really seen a lot of people like posting that they use it at home.
My OB frowned upon it. He was like, no, you like just use like what we have here because they feel like we're messing around with, you know.
Yeah, because when I bought mine, I told the OB as well, and they were like, oh, those things like just when you come here, and that's not the case. I actually loved mine, especially during this time where you can't go and see the doctor as often. I think it's like normalizing it and making it where people are actually like excited to get it and want to hear the heartbeat and the kicks and everything.
And a quick thing, are you guys selling on Amazon?
No, so Amazon Canada, we did have some products listed on there, but there's certain regulations about the kinds of products that we sell. So it's been very difficult.
That was my question, because when I was looking for one online, I couldn't find one on Amazon. I was shocked. So I figured it had something to do with regulation.
Yeah, I got mine from Best Buy.
Yeah, so we're on Best Buy as well, Best Buy, Walmart.ca, Wish as well, like all kinds of different distribution channels.
Yeah.
But our core is just driving traffic to our Shopify website.
We've probably done this, but like there's so many mom blogs and mom like Rebel Mamas and Pink and Blue and all of these kind of big Facebook pages.
Yeah.
Like maybe gifting some of them for free to some people to like really test them out and post about using them and their experience.
And then same with like similar to the other thing with the Doppler, even with the sterilizer, like speak to the convenience and how much time it really saves, because I use a similar one right now and it's like, it's a lifesaver for me. So really speaking to those benefits, I feel like a lot of these like sterilizers don't really speak to like how much time it really saves of hand washing and boiling and all that kind of stuff. So really just, I know I always talk about your, unique selling proposition, but I think that's really key to get, convert customers.
That's really good advice. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And congrats. Ooh, another son in the oven.
Yeah.
A little unexpected, but I'm gonna go with
Go with the flow. Baby boom. The pandemic baby boom. All right. Rajan, anything you want to add? Oh, sorry.
Is more your revenue in Canada or the US?
97% of our revenue is from the US.
Okay. So I think there's an exponential play here, because there's two things to consider here. One, this iPhone, it's been crazy, and like everything will revert. You just got to be patient on this over a period of time, because there's so much ad revenue lost that ad revenue does find time. It's usually a 6 or 9 month gap. This happens in media across all spectrums. This has happened over and over. People are freaking out, and they should. But the ad dollars will continue to play in, and it's going to balance in different markets. And so one of the things is like companies are like, oh my God, what am I going to do? My revenue drop. It's like, this is a patience. I've seen this a couple times over the last like 15 years where, ad dollars change. Are you spending on Pinterest?
No, we have an organic Pinterest strategy, but that's definitely something that we want to look into.
Someone else mentioned, I think the Luna team mentioned that like, Pinterest is the ROAS is incredible. It's the most highly engaged new mom, prenatal. Like there's just such an opportunity there. I would highly recommend looking at that from a ROAS perspective. You're starting to see a lot of ad dollars move there. I've moved a ton of ad dollars on there. It's trying to think of the other platforms, right? And like great companies are looking at where they're getting price inequity on different platforms. This whole Facebook, Google thing, it's great, but like remember, in 10 years from now, we're going to be talking about multiple platforms. We looked at everything. We never became reliant, and I think this is a great opportunity. I talked about Instacart earlier. We talked about Pinterest earlier. For other brands, like there's huge pricing inequity on like the dating, the Bumbles of the world, and the Tinders of the world, right? Depending on it's the right product, not for you, obviously. There's look for those opportunities in there. What I think excites me the most about you, where you can start looking while you have this gap while marketing fills out, is you have something that if you have customer data prenatal, like you have something that tens of thousands of companies want, because they're trying to get into the funnel really, really early. And so you can be building off, and it doesn't have to be traditional. You should be looking at other ways, and obviously try to do it with some of your other products, but even with partner products, that like you're so early in the funnel and people dream of like, how do I get to, you got it really hard, how do I get to the expecting mom at 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. Like if you can get into that funnel, there's a ton of partner companies that would love to partner with you. You could build a massive affiliate business that would be private label. And I think it's something to really consider because it's the hardest. Anyone building mom products needs to be ahead of it. And you are the first person ahead of it, and you're a trusted product. I think you have a gold mine if you can use that and extend it out. For me, this would be the pivot product, but there's so much down the line. Like you've got that customer and they trust you. The price is $60, and I didn't know that you could buy this. Otherwise, with our kids, I would have like, this would be something that I would buy, right? And there's also like a dad play here, right? Because this is something a guy can get for technology driven. It's like, here, I'm gonna save the day. Don't worry, mom, baby's okay. But like you're so early in the funnel, like I would love you to take 5, 10, 15 minutes to think about like what, like, not just your products, but the entire world that would love to plug into your customer in 4 months, and they'll pay a heck of a lot of money for it. So think about that because you have lead generation there that's probably even more valuable than your own product.
Yeah, our email list is definitely really valuable and underutilized, I would say. So really good feedback. Thank you.
Hi. So one thing that was mentioned earlier is online communities like Facebook groups. I personally have not had a child, but when and if I do, I will be like leaning on people who have had them. So I feel like those groups, and at least for, this is a different avenue, but for us at Shopify, like we are trying to help entrepreneurs. So what do? We go into those communities and we become well liked and trusted. And then they know that, you know, come to us when you're ready to do that. So same thing with like Facebook groups, whether there's like Reddit groups, that sort of thing, where people go and ask those questions, is like go and talk to those people and really be like one of those brands that comes up in those conversations and ask people, you know, like, how is it that you found us? How is it that you like the products, get those customer feedbacks, that sort of thing. And the one other thing I would say too is just looking at your website. I feel like I've gone through it and like some of the product pages really feels like it's quite like structured. It's like, okay, we have these badges, we have like, you know, how to pay, you have your credit card, PayPal, all that jazz. A lot of customers actually know that information and it's not something they really look for. I mean, some of them, I shouldn't say like all of them. So I would like go through the user experience. Again, look at your competitors. I feel like these types of products are very tailored, I think, more towards the moms right off the bat. I think you can get into the new dads at that point. But I think really focusing on like, what is it that your brand is and like how to really tailor it to them. This is like really little nitpicky things. When I look at this website, I'm like, okay, this is definitely a Shopify theme. I can tell by the text and that sort of thing. Go in and update the text so that maybe it's a little bit softer and it really resonates with the customers that you're trying to target. I think that will help, just like once you do get people on that website, that they're going to convert right away because they're going to feel like they trust it. And this is a really important product that they're buying, right? So they want to really make sure that they trust the brand they're buying from, because I could only imagine if you get this product and then you don't hear the heartbeat, you're like, oh my God, is it broken? Like, what's happening? Like, so you want to build that trust as much as you can.
Thank you, Sandra. I appreciate it.
Yeah, she's good.
Oh my God. You guys have been going for 3 hours. This is a true marathon. This is how long a marathon is. Okay, guys, we have one more entrepreneur. Again, I just want to thank you all much for staying on, and like just the support too helps our mentors get through it. So I'm going to throw it to Franco, our final speaker.
Hi, guys. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, perfect. Yeah, so last but not least, hopefully, I'm here on behalf of Pure Food by Estee. So Estee's might be in attendance today, but she's got a lot going on today with all the virtual schooling and all that other lovely stuff that us parents need to deal with on an ongoing basis. And so we're very grateful for the opportunity to have a conversation with all of you. And, you know, sitting here for the last 3 hours, it's amazing with what all the entrepreneurs are up to and some of the great potential that I'm seeing there. And so it's really refreshing, especially on a Thursday after a pretty long week, getting battled and beaten down by by buyers across the world selling our products. And so we are a natural food company. So we were founded in 2015 by Estee herself. So she's a very busy mother, like I said, and she established the business really to provide nutrition or healthier gourmet options to people, because what she was noticing was that there was a lot of products out there that claimed that they were health food or didn't taste good, or they were products that were filled with sugar or a bunch of preservatives and non-natural ingredients. And so, cooking for a big family, her friend said, hey, let's, why don't you start bottling this? Why don't you start producing this stuff? And so that's what she did. So for the last 4 years, she's been selling exclusively into kosher, and actually built a really good test model in the kosher market, which is kind of, test products, innovate rapidly, constantly innovating, and seeing how that works. And if it's successful within kosher, what we're doing now over the last year is expanding into traditional grocery and natural food stores. And so, our mission at the beginning of last year was really to, attack all the natural food stores and premium grocery outlets, and then the pandemic hit. And so as that started to hit, we had a lot of issues trying to get any time with any sort of buyer in brick and mortar. And so we turned our focus over into e-commerce. And so we built our e-commerce presence. We established ourselves on Amazon. We went after any sort of e-commerce retailer that would fit with us. Snack Magic, for example, Fair, and a variety of other websites like Meet Mabel. And so we have quite a decent amount of e-commerce sales that we get through all these secondary platforms. But what we've noticed ourselves is that just being in the food business and trying to establish a e-commerce business as kind of a presence for the business has been very interesting, because we get nailed all the time with high shipping costs, and we don't really know how much money we should be spending on marketing per se to drive that piece of business. And being a smaller shop with revenues that are good but and growing, we're spending most of our money funding inventory. And so I guess the biggest question that I have is, albeit we're trying a number of different things, is how much money should we be spending on e-commerce, and what should we be expecting at this day and age? Because I think our revenues are somewhere around the $1,000, $2,000 mark per month on our website, and we haven't really been focusing much on it other than affiliates and reviews. So that is my question. That's the question from the team.
Quick question back at you. Did you who built the site? What's the kind of what's your history with the site itself? How was it built?
It's built on Shopify. So originally we had that built on WordPress. We weren't selling on that website at all. What we did when the pandemic hit is we converted it over to Shopify so we could have the shopping cart option, and basically replicated that design. And so since then, we've been flowing it through Shopify. We actually use Shopify itself as a method to fulfill directly integrated through API into our warehouse, which is actually kind of cool. And we do all the APIs into Fair and all of our other retailers. So it's kind of top to bottom. If anybody orders through any of the websites, it pushes through Shopify directly into our warehouse software. So we use it for a lot more than just the website.
Yeah, I think my initial kind of thought is that the website, if it was like a copy from onto Shopify, that there are a couple of user issues that maybe Cassandra will touch on. But for example, when you go from page to page, there's a whole menu that kind of flashes for a second and goes away. For us, I don't know if it's on other people's side. And then the main menu is actually longer than the screen, so you have to actually scroll more and more to the right of the website. So I think there's some maybe design elements and UX stuff that might need to be fixed on the site itself. before really spending like more and more money driving traffic to the site. And then when it comes to like how much money you should be spending, it really will start to come down to what are your COGS, like what's like, you know, the COGS of all these products that you're selling. What are you able to actually get your costs to acquire the customer to? And from there, you can figure out whether your budget should scale or not, whether it's working or not. But I think initially I would really concentrate on kind of making the website a little more user-friendly.
Yeah, like Stacey said, like
Mhm.
there's no maximum to how much you can spend as long as your return on ad spend.
Yeah, that's the issue, right?
Right, you could scale as much as you can, so or as much as you want to, really, if it's paying for itself. But early on, like what we did was we didn't have big budgets. We just tried so many different things. So, you know, when your website is in order and you're ready to have, you know, that traffic come in that you feel confident will convert, just test different audiences, different locations, different interest groups, like all that kind of stuff. And then you'll find your winners, and then that's the ones that you scale. But in terms of putting a, you know, monetary value on it, it's really difficult. It all depends on your budget, right?
And you can also, as you scale,
Yeah,
you can use what used to be called ClearBank, which we also use in very initial stages. But again, like until the site is at a place where you know, every dollar you spend, if the site isn't there, it's just going to be wasted money. But we used ClearBank, and we had a really great experience when we were first starting out. That could be like a really good thing to connect to your Shopify. And yeah, I think just look over the site on mobile, on iPad, on computer, and do a bit of like testing of the site, because for us, there's a lot of glitches that are happening.
Okay.
Perfect. I appreciate that feedback.
Thank you.
I think you got to decide whether you want to be an e-commerce company or not, right? It seems like you guys are on the periphery of it, right? And we want to, you know, you're getting a drive of it. It's like this is a lot of companies. It's like, okay, we have e-commerce, but we kind of put them in the basement in the corner, and we hope that it turns into something. And it seems like with that type of revenue, you obviously have some very successful partnerships. You know, like you can tell, and I think from the previous comment from the UX, right? Like you can see that it's being ported over to a site, right? Shopify you can build a really great site. The products are so not connected. So people that are coming here, like you can use e-commerce. E-commerce doesn't have to be direct to consumer. You could be just using it as a place where people shop in store, and you're literally putting a coupon on the back of your product, or you're putting a redirection for more products, shop at this, and it's an ancillary revenue source from your physical product to try to get e-commerce. I think people, you know, you don't have to be an e-commerce first company. It's just how do you want to use it and how effective you want to be. If you want to be e-commerce as a diversified revenue stream, then you're either pushing from store to e-commerce because you'd like to get higher margin, or you're like, hey, I want to focus on one or two products. But when I look at all the products, like I don't think people are upset. They're probably obsessed with the product, but they're not saying, hey, I want to go to pure-food.ca to be able to go like get all the things I need, because there's a small amount of product, but they're somewhat disconnected. So do you want to focus on the chocolate? Maybe you build your own standalone sites there. If you really want to go into e-commerce there, and then you're building a brand around that. And then the final piece there is marketing budget. I don't believe in marketing budgets, which blows people's minds. But you should have marketing minimums once you figure out a return on ad spend that makes sense. So, you know, you spend $1, are you going to have $4 or $5? What do you need for that to get a return? And you'll never get that early, but if you get close to that or within that range, you can start spending up, right? As previous speakers have said.
Right.
Like honestly, like how much you want to be spending on e-commerce is 10, 20, 50 million a month. That'd be awesome, because that means you're getting the return. Right. And so instead of looking at like how much should we spend, it's okay, how much can we afford? You have a wholesale margin of this. Let's take that wholesale margin, pull it out. That's where we probably want to get to, right? So you probably want, for every dollar you spend, you probably want every $4 or $5, right? And depending on the product, you'll figure that out. So, and then that's what you're trying to crack. If you can crack that code, you keep adding, and you add layers and you add layers, and either you'll scale like this, or you'll reach a maximum amount of purchasers and you'll scale back. But your goal is to spend as much as possible and just finding a channel or so whether it's Instagram or Facebook direct, or it's Amazon, right? Or using something else, finding a channel that gives you that return on ad spend. So think of it like that, of I want to spend $1, how much do I need to get back in sales? And then if you can get that, double down and double down and double down, and then pare back when you can't get there.
Right. Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you.
Final nugget of advice.
No pressure at all. No pressure. Yeah, I think you got to figure out what is it that you want to do with this website. I think the website's trying to do a little too much. So I'm also getting that like, I think it's HTML menu stuff that when you go from one page to another, it pops up. It's probably something to do with an app that was either added and deleted, but then there's a piece of code that's stuck in there. Whoever built your website can probably find out how to delete it, and that would help. And then I also think it's the website's trying to do too much. Right now, like you get on here and the main part of the navigation is shop our products, join our affiliates program, and wholesale orders. Those are 3 things that are like, oh, should I be purchasing from here? Could I go and walk to a grocery store and purchase it in hand and not have to have it shipped? So if you want this website to be very B2C, then I would take the affiliate program and the wholesale orders, keep those on the website, put those in the footer. The people that are coming here to order for wholesale, they will know how to get there. But make it more about the B2C at this point. Also, there's just little things on here that I can tell it's a Shopify theme, which Shopify themes are fantastic. They can be free, you can build on them, but just go in and like update it to really resonate with your brand. You look at like the text that you have in your logo, and it doesn't actually resonate with a lot of the text that's within the rest of the website and the descriptions and that sort of thing. So, yeah, just something to think about. But I think first things first is figure out what you want this website to really do. And then from there, you can work with whoever's building your website just to like fix those little UX things. And then the other thing is like once you've gotten there, I think you have some fantastic marketing opportunities in terms of like recipes, TikTok, use Instagram, do stories, like how people are using these physical products. And then I have one last comment just in terms of the website. The banners that come across, you can actually click them. So there are little shop now sections that you can press on that and they will take you there. But I was looking at one product and I was like, is this flour? I'm not really sure what this is. And I tried to click in it and it doesn't actually get me anywhere. Again, people are very like quick to get off of a website. So just make sure you're going back and checking that the links are all working and just as a customer. I think that's all for me.
Thank you. Thanks for that feedback.
No worries.
We made it.
Woo! We did it.
Thank you guys for staying on. Thanks, Franco. I know Rajan had to pop off, but can we just give a virtual clap for Cassandra, Monica, and Stacy? I think it's this, but we'll do this too. Super grateful for all of your energy. I have literally 8 pages of notes. Just so much good advice, and it's just crazy how much, even though listening to other people, you gain so much insight. So we're gonna wrap it up. 26 minutes over time, totally worth it. Thank you again, guys, for being a part of this event, and we hope to see you all at the open house next Thursday. And for our members, thank you for being a part of this, and for everyone else, we hope to see you soon and continue to curate experiences like this for you. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.